to Chicago Brewed Sports, a podcast for the fans, by the fans. My name is Andrew. This is Bob or Brandon, whatever you guys want to call him, and this is Joe. Let's get into things.
All right, so we're going to start off with some football here on the Chicago Bears. I just want to reiterate that, again, that this podcast is for the fans, by the fans. So we are not professional sports analysts. We are not professional journalists for sports. We're just fans that are giving our opinions and talking about Chicago sports, literally.
Episode 2. We're getting into it now.
Very excited.
But hey, no, I was going to say real quick before we jump into the Bears game. You guys went to the Cubbies game yesterday?
Yeah, that was a ton of fun. Great win. We won 14-1, I believe. I was also, drinking a little bit, so
14-1. That's a good game.
But great game by the rookie Alexander Canario. Great game, homer, first of his career. Very good.
Yep. As we speak, the Cubs are getting shelled right now. What are they losing? 8-1.
8-1, yeah.
So
second,
much better that you went yesterday than today.
Andrew's all fired up.
Yeah, I'm all fired up. Second, really bad start by Justin Steele in September, which is not good. I have completely knocked him out of the Cy Young contention. Hats off to Blake Snell. That is all yours, my friend. But
that's
the
bold,
Bears.
That's bold,
yeah.
But I'm buying it.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Bears momentarily here. I just wanted to say, what are your guys' thoughts on the artificial turf? Getting rid of the artificial turf. I know that Aaron Rodgers' injury kind of brought up the debate of putting in just regular grass. It would cost the NFL, I heard, $12 million just to get all normal regular grass turf in. To prevent injuries, we all know that grass and dirt, it's not like that soft, but it's softer than artificial turf because it's like way slipperier. It's not authentic. I know, slipperier. If that's even a word.
I didn't want to distract you.
No, it's all right.
Add that to the dictionary. Slipperier.
Hell yeah.
Slipperier. I can't talk today, apparently.
No, Joe.
I can't either, man. I can't either.
So,
don't worry. I'm still hungry.
So $12 million to me sounds like nothing, and if it's going to prevent injuries, we all know how injuries seem to pile up in the NFL every year. So hopefully the NFL decides to do that. $12 million seems like nothing. That seems like nickels and dimes.
If I could add one thing to that, I think the league should absolutely have real grass instead of turf. You see all the difference in injuries compared to real grass as to turf. Also, the NFL is a cash cow. They have billions of dollars. $12 million in the NFL is absolutely nothing. Yeah. So do it for the players. It sucks to see Rodgers be out the entire season. One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. A new team like the Jets, big city. You want to see what a player like that.
They asked Brady if he was going to come play for the Jets, and he kind of shook off the answer, but he said no, he's done playing football. But on that
he's retired.
Yeah, Tom Brady's retired.
Yeah, excuse me, I thought I heard Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, I did hear rumors about Brady.
No, but Rodgers. Well, he has a 3-year contract.
That reminds me, not to get too off topic, but I saw a picture earlier today, and it was if you didn't see that Nick Chubb injury, that shit was gruesome, man. You got to go look at that if not for the faint of heart, but
yeah, he had a similar injury to that in college, I remember.
Did he?
Yeah.
But no, I saw a picture. It was because Kareem Hunt's still trying to sign with the team, and he was playing with the Browns.
Yeah.
And now that Nick Chubb got injured, it was like Kareem Hunt showed up to the stadium, just like, what are you doing here? Oh, just hanging out. So, these guys are always trying to step up and be the next man up in those situations.
What a massive blow
but
to that team.
If I could just add one thing based, answering what you said, Joe, I think I'm not going to overanalyze it. I mean, whatever's best for the players.
Yeah.
If that's what the players want to do, it would be, it would be a really bad thing for the owners to not actually do
just
that.
Be really greedy and stupid.
Greedy. Yeah. That's the word I was thinking.
We all know Soldier Field is grass.
Just do it.
So hopefully the new
that's
stadium.
what they want.
Going back to the Browns, It really sucks that we're not able to see what the Browns could do this year with a full season of Deshaun Watson as well as Nick Chubb. That does hurt and that does suck. Nick Chubb is obviously one of the best running backs in the league. Deshaun Watson coming back on a full year, no suspension, maybe cleared his mind up a little. I would have liked to have seen what that team could do, but now that's out of the picture.
Absolutely. So hopefully they hopefully they figure it out with the artificial turf. It sounds like that's what it's going to be. But so one of the questions I have, we'll get into some questions here. We know that there's basically a shitstorm going on right now in Halas Hall with all the crap that's going on. They had a press conference today with Justin Fields and the coaches.
Pure pandemonium.
Yeah. So my question is, one of the questions I have is, who's to blame here? Is it the McCaskies? Is it Ryan Poles? Is it Matt Eberflus? Is it Getsy? Is it Fields? To me, it just seems like there's too many options. I always thought that, it starts at the top and it works its way down the chain of command. And, does it start with the McCaskies? Is it the McCaskies' fault? Ryan Poles, it sounded like a lot of people wanted to go after this guy. He was really sought after GM, coming over from the Kansas City Chiefs. And he just was a high prospect, looked like he could really turn things around. But now it's looking like he made some pretty bust mistake moves on some of the players he picked, some of the coaching staff that he picked. I was a big fan of Brian Dable, what he did with...
if you don't mind, if I could say something.
Yeah, sure.
I think, I've been thinking about that question for a while now. Mm-hmm. And I think 100% this is Justin Fields' fault.
So out of all this, you think
I think this is absolutely absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't think it's any of the management. I think they actually for the first time in ever, obviously not ever, but they drafted a whole lineman. They addressed our actual needs in the draft, which was good. So hats off to them.
I think people are beating up.
We should have had an offensive-minded head coach.
Yeah.
But it didn't.
I think people are beating up Ryan Poles too much for
But the whole point I'm trying to make here is this. I don't know if this is bold or not, if I'm going to get some flack for this. I really don't care because I believe it's true. Mm-hmm. If Justin Fields was a good quarterback, the Bears would not be in this predicament,
Well, we see that
the management wouldn't be under fire. No one would be under fire.
Well, to add to your point too, Andrew, that we have seen quarterbacks that have shined even when there's no talent around them. An example of this is Deshaun Watson when he played for the Texans. Yes, he had DeAndre Hopkins as a wide receiver, but he had nothing else. They had an older T.J. Watt that it wasn't in his prime anymore for defense. So then that was basically the only defense they had for the Texans. They had DeAndre Hopkins as a wide receiver, and the rest were all number 4s and 5 wide receivers. And they had no offensive line and no running, nothing, the Texans. And we also had Deshaun Watson still shine when there was really not a lot of talent around. And we got DJ Moore. We got a guy like DJ Moore to help, elevate Justin's performance. And it doesn't seem like that.
Well, Brandon, that one video, sorry, Joe.
That's right.
Sorry. That one video that you showed me, it was this pathetic video on Justin Fields' part. Basically, he took a sack when there was an easy touchdown, I think, in the Tampa Bay game.
Justin Fields
wide open wide receiver. Yeah, wide open wide receiver.
It exposes his vision.
There was 2 wide open receivers, I heard.
To be a good quarterback, you have to be able to see the entire field. You have to be able to identify who's open, who's going to be open based on where the defender is actually standing.
I watched Dan Orlovsky. He was on today, and he was breaking down all 22, just some plays, not all of it. And he was saying that Justin Fields, he's he's reading these defenses. He is seeing what is he's seeing the receivers get open, but he throws his arm back. He touches the ball ready to throw it, and then he doesn't throw it. And Dan Orlovsky, he was a former Lions quarterback. I think he looks a lot like Brandon. He does. He looks like Brandon kind of.
That's Bob to you.
I know. Bob.
Brandon, Bob, whatever. Big opinion, Brandon or Brandon.
So hey, this might be Doppelganger.
King Bob.
Dan Orlovsky.
Shout out to Daisy.
Doppelganger over here. Anyways, he's saying that he's engaging and seeing the receivers downfield, but he's not throwing it to them. And the question is, why are you not throwing it to them?
It's just sad.
It's
just sad. The Bears will probably have to waste a top 5
I think
draft
you guys
pick.
aren't. look, I don't want
Not
to.
another
You know what?
quarterback.
I'm saying this for the reasons of being able to debate. Of course, that's what this show is all about. I think you guys are on the right track, but I think there's more to it than that, man.
I don't think.
It's just Justin Fields' fault, dude.
No,
I think
not, but...
you look at what happened today with the defensive coordinator Williams. You don't think this is something that's plagued the franchise since probably last season, probably all off season, maybe within the last couple weeks, spring training. Yeah. When you have a defensive coordinator who's not fully in it, you're not going to play well, and we've seen that in the first 2 games. They've been pathetically horrible on defense.
I don't know, Brandon, if you watched the press conference today with Justin Fields, but he did come out and say that he's feeling too robotic, and he thinks,
saw that. Yeah,
and he thinks it's from him taking too much information in from the coaches.
And so then he had to bring them back and
then
specify what he said.
Yeah, so he said it's all him.
But here's another thing.
But why would you say it's the coaches, then take it back and say no, it's all me? So it's like.
You know what, man? It's all about maintaining a good reputation.
No, you want to know
you don't want to be a problem.
You know
when free agency hits.
You want to know why? I think so. First, I like that he's being truthful and stuff, but you got to know when to start being truthful. And right now, it's not the time to be truthful when you're the quarterback and you're not performing very well. And on top of it, I get to play. Some of the play calls Luke Getsy did on the All-22 breakdown, they looked okay. Some of the play calls, but a lot of them were not okay, obviously. But the problem with Fields is, okay, so you're going to make a statement like that and say that it's the coaches giving you too much information and you're looking too robotic. So, dude, and then he said he's like, F it, I'm just going to go out there and play how I know how to play football. Okay, great, Justin. So now if you go out there and you look bad, who are you going to blame now? There's no one else to blame but yourself.
Yep.
I agree.
I think that was a mistake that he said that.
I think that it was. I agree with you. I think it in a way it could end up being a mistake. But it could end up being what Bears fans needed to hear. Because honestly, what else would he turn to? What?
I get it. It's frustrating.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, but you have to
what
perform.
Else could have been the
Justin
issue?
Fields has to perform now. Because if he doesn't perform,
and
it's not going to look good.
I have something to say regarding Justin Fields. Going back to what you said about the defensive coordinator, resigning and all a bunch of issues in the management and the clubhouse and everything. All that is a problem, but imagine if the Bears had a good quarterback. Do you think these would be like actual surfaceable issues in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes at the helm? It would be like a minor issue here and there.
Yeah.
Well, no, for sure. So I have 2 points that I want to make. First point I want to make is I also saw, and Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this was just announced today
it's
that Braxton Jones, our left tackle, put on the injured reserve with the neck injury up to minimum 4 weeks out.
A neck injury?
Yeah,
minimum.
Yeah, so we got Larry Borum coming in his place.
Correct. So now we have two backup linemen. We have a rookie. We have free agents. It's looking so thin. So
Lucas Patrick didn't practice today from illness. So
it's
that's and he's our backup center.
It's easy to blame the quarterback. The quarterback gets all the glory, right?
Yeah.
Who gets the MVP awards? The quarterback.
Since we're on Justin Fields.
But Joe, one more thing, because I want to address what Andrew said.
Sure.
And then you can go. I'm sorry. What I was going to say, Andrew, was because what did you say? You said
I said that if these issues were going on in Kansas City
with
Mahomes, it wouldn't be that bad.
I agree.
Guess what? They'd still be winning games because they have Patrick Mahomes.
I agree. It's what I want to call the Mahomes effect. You can call it the Lamar Jackson effect. Look, everybody who watched the Bears season last year looked at Fields and said, you know what? We want this guy to be Lamar Jackson. We saw the wheels this kid had. We saw the development. It was year 2.
And they should play it to his
strengths.
Yeah, he's not a drop back pocket.
100%.
And that's the problem. So the issue, and not only that, there's a lot of elements here because we want him. Everyone who watched Fields wanted him to be Lamar Jackson, but the reality is he hasn't proven that he has that arm. Lamar Jackson, like Mahomes, gets it done under pressure. Lamar Jackson gets it done with injuries on his team. You got Lamar Jackson this season already. They've had injuries to the defense. Dobbs has gotten injured. Odell Beckham Jr. just got injured last year. No one's shocked about that, but it's the truth. They've had a couple good guys step up, like Zay Flowers. I think this rookie is. But again, it's Lamar throwing fucking dimes that is giving these receivers the chance to make these plays. So
Lamar's looking good this year.
You're right. Really, really good quarterbacks can get the job done no
That
matter
brings
what,
up-
through thick and thin.
Yes.
That brings up that
100%.
Deshaun
But
Watson
this brings up
point.
one more
Yeah.
point, and I'm sorry, this is lengthy, but this brings up one more point. If you're not going to be a Lamar Jackson-esque player, if you're not going to be a Mahomes-esque player, you have to be successful in the NFL, you have to be a San Francisco 49ers.
Or you're solid all around, good defense, good offense,
good defense,
good special teams.
Debo Samuel, security blankets left and right, Christian McCaffrey, even a Brandon Ayuk, a George Kittle. You know, you either have to be a Lamar Jackson or you have to be a San Francisco 49ers to be successful in this league, and that's the bottom line. Fields is struggling. I don't think he has that Lamar Jackson factor. The Bears are an absolute mess. It's rough. It's rough.
So,
And that's just what I wanted to say.
No, to bring up that point too, Tim Jenkins said on 670 The Score yesterday that that the way that like they're, you know, obviously Fields is not a drop back passer, but it seems like defenses now, it used to always be the offenses had the edge, you know, people wanted the good offenses, but now it seems like the defenses are starting to come back, like it's almost the 80s football era, they're kind of bringing it back, because there's only few quarterbacks, kind of, it seems like right now, that are very, very good at doing that 4 or 5 step drop back pocket passer, and they have had very good success doing it. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, to set a few examples, and now they're trying to make some of these new quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes is another one. That they're trying to make these new quarterbacks be these drop back pocket passers, 4 or 5 step drop back. You could see it, and it's like Dan Orlovsky was saying, it's like he's hopping back because he's thinking too much now. Justin Fields, he's hopping back, he's like looking, doing his check down, and he's missing open receivers because he's thinking too much, because they're trying to get it in his head. Okay, you got to do your 4 step, 5 step drop back, look, throw the ball. And it used to be, like Tim Jenkins was saying, it used to be like, you'd either be in shotgun or under center. You're under center, you do your drop back, and it's kind of affecting some of these newer quarterbacks. And the defenses are catching on and knowing what these guys are doing and anticipating the passes, and the defenses are starting to learn a lot more, because it seems like to be a pocket passer in the NFL, Terry Bradshaw said that that's the only way to be successful, which is kind of true but not true, because there is successful quarterbacks in the NFL that are not pocket passers, like Jalen Hurts, and just for an example, Jalen Hurts. I mean,
Jalen Hurts is a monster.
Yeah.
But again, I'm telling you, the Eagle, like Jalen Hurts is him. Jalen Hurts is
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, he's in that category.
Good quarterbacks.
But look at that team, dude. Like the Eagles are good.
Too.
So it's like the perfect storm. That's why when you have a guy like Jalen Hurts who has that ability, and then you have that team around him, that's the reason why the Eagles are looked at as the favorites this season. There's no question about it.
Those are all true words. One thing that I want to talk about on Justin Fields, the reason why I say it's Justin Fields' fault and not management and what else, is simply because in the Tampa Bay game, Justin Fields had opportunities to get the ball out, wide receiver or open receivers. He's had multiple opportunities, and he did not capitalize in those moments.
Which took a sack instead.
Well, yes, and took a sack instead.
What happened?
So 100%, a good quarterback, when given the opportunity, he will make the right throw.
Let me ask you a question. The Bears were down 20-17. Mm-hmm. We had 2 to 3 minutes in the final quarter to get down the field and either tie it or score. What happened?
He threw a screen pass and they did a pick six.
Immediately.
He threw like 3 in a row.
So to get into that,
from
the end zone, from the 2-yard line.
But what the hell do you think is going to happen?
That's not good play calling. That's coaching. That's like Justin Fields should have the wherewithal to drop back on a play if he identifies that it's not.
So he shouldn't have been in that predicament, though.
So they did 3.
You know how many times
me
and Joe talked about it. Yeah. We all talked about it on Sunday. How many times can Justin Fields throw the ball away or make a better decision than taking a sack? It's just there's so many different elements that add on to how he's not a good quarterback. But I think if I can just break something down real quick, it all boils down to the flow of the game, too. I think to your point, Andrew, you're saying that Justin Fields is the problem. And I'm not a Justin Fields dick rider, right? I know that he's a big part of the problem, but I also think that it's the ebbs and flow of the game, man. A good offense keeps the defense fresh, right? So what happens? You have a shit offense or an offense. Listen, when you have an offense that doesn't produce, that keeps the defense on the field a lot more.
Yeah,
wears them out, and then you know what I'm saying. And it goes vice versa. And it goes vice versa. When you have that good defense, it helps maintain like good field position, alleviates pressure.
That's the biggest thing.
Alleviates pressure on the offense. So here's what I'm going to say.
That's why they need 5 days.
That's the main thing. It alleviates pressure on the offense. So my final thoughts on that are that Justin Fields is playing every game, every week with an incredible amount of pressure. Think about all the pressure he had going into the Packers game.
It comes with the job, though. You know, that's part of the job.
It's part of the job, but when your team's terrible, when your team's terrible, when you're in your third year and your livelihood, your job is on the line, it's higher. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but Deshaun Watson had a better team, a better defense. He had Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Yeah, but who the fuck is Fields had, bro?
You are 100% correct.
But Deshaun Watson.
The simple fact is Justin Fields is not taking advantage of the good opportunities that he has, and that is a true sign of a bad quarterback.
You can't execute, then.
Yeah, there's been multiple opportunities for Fields, to get the first down, to throw the touchdown, but that's not happening.
They're not going to get rid of the coaches because the coach's excuse is going to be, well, we didn't draft Fields. He wasn't our guy. Nagy drafted Fields. So, I mean, so all the blame goes on the quarterback. So you're right, he does have the most pressure because he knows that the coaches aren't going to get fired. He's going to get fired.
And it's just like baseball. It's just
there are
like
only a couple
with
guys.
The head coach. The head coach will always be the scapegoat.
Yeah.
If your team falls and does bad, guess what? It's not the players for batting 185, It's the manager for not that's just how it is. Quarterback and head coach.
There's only a couple guys in this league that have gotten away with having pressure on them their entire career and succeeding with it. And that's Brady. Name a couple other people. I'm not a professional when it comes to NFL history, but how do you expect Fields to succeed in this organization?
Yeah, but he needs to show us some sign of life. So what I'm trying to say. He needs to show us that he can throw the ball and not just run.
He showed us some last year. I mean, he showed us some signs of life last year.
So we are in the exact same spot.
Not enough.
Joe, let me ask you: have we gotten better or worse than last year as a team?
As of right now, it's worse.
Which is insane to fathom.
I agree. It's worse
with the draft class
because of injuries, though.
With signings,
So we've lost 12 straight games in a row, and all 12 straight games have been by 25 points or more.
Except last week.
Except for last game, but yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Holy shit!
Wait, what?
So 12 straight losses. Oh no, so sorry, it wasn't. They weren't all 20. So it's the first.
I was going to say.
So in the 12 straight losses. So the first NFL team in history to give up 25 points or more in 12 straight. Yeah, so 12 straight losses. So it wasn't 12 straight though. It would have been because yesterday it was only 10 points.
Oh, you're saying all 12 games they've given up more
25
than 25
points. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, I thought you meant we lost by 25.
No, that's what I confused myself with that. Yes, so they've all been 25 points or more. Yes, sorry, that's my bad.
No, that's
crazy. To bring up that we are in the exact same spot that we are with Trubisky that we were in 4 years ago, the same exact spot because Trubisky was on year 4. And we were like, this was his year to make or break him. And we're having the same conversation about Fields as we were with Trubisky 4 years ago.
And it's brutal, man, because that 12-4 season with
Trubisky.
Yeah,
so what are we going to do? Are we going to draft Caleb Williams and have another 4 years?
It's not looking good for the Bears right now, right? But I'm going to reference the Lions here with Jared Goff. They started off the season last year 0-7. It was looking like a disaster season for them. Really turned it around. Maybe Fields needs to go through this struggle. Maybe that could give him more knowledge on the game or light a fire under his ass at some point.
How long do you think he holds on?
Also, this is also a big thing. The Bears have 41 new players on their team this year, or something like that, from the past 2 seasons. That's going to take time.
How long is this rebuild?
Last week, man.
That's going to take time to get a clubhouse culture going. You know, a lot of new personalities.
Yeah.
A lot of, you know,
a new head coach.
Yeah, everything is
Joe,
new.
is this isn't Eberflus' second year, right?
It's his second year. Before
That's
Nagy
a new
was
head
fourth.
coach, bro.
Everyone's
the thing,
new.
you wanna
Everyone's
give-
new.
Now the
You gotta
defensive
give them
coordinator.
time.
You don't want to go.
Yeah.
You don't want to go through coaches and GMs like every other year. It's bad culture to do that kind of stuff.
Joe,
Look.
do you know? Joe, and I'm asking because I actually don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know who's the longest tenured Bear on the team right now?
Right now,
Think about it. You got 22 starters. I
It has to
guarantee
be
you,
Eddie Jackson.
maybe fucking
Eddie
Whitehair or some
Jackson's
shit.
been
I feel like
on for-
Whitehair's been around for a minute.
yeah, Whitehair, Jackson, Eddie Jackson's been on for 7 years. Whitehair's like 31, so he might.
I
be
feel like
up there.
Whitehair's
We
been
drafted
around.
Whitehair, I believe. Yeah, we did.
But
yeah, Whitehair
that's my
made-
point, man. Like
Whitehair, Jackson. So 7 years. That's about
when there's 22 starting positions, every team has that guy. I don't think the Bears do. I think the Bears have a couple bright spots, like Jalen Johnson. I saw him shut down the ex receiver. Who was that? Well, I wouldn't say he shut down Evans. Definitely not. Evans had a good game, but you know, I saw Jalen Johnson do some good things. But that's it. I didn't see anyone else on the defense do anything productive.
And our defensive backs, it's looking pretty thin. I mean,
Zero pressure,
Gordon
zero
out.
fucking sacks, maybe a couple, but yeah.
Eddie Jackson is hurt.
And you know what? I have a bone to pick. This is going to be my bone to pick segment. I don't know if I'm going to have that every week, but I just felt like saying that. I hate the roughing player out of bounds.
Oh, yeah.
What is it? Unnecessary roughness. I am not a fan of the unnecessary roughness penalty in some regards.
Yeah, you did
There's
that
an
during
example.
the game.
Yeah, I know. I brought this up during the game, and I told you I was going to mention it, and I surely am. There was a situation. So this was with 22 seconds left in the second quarter. Baker Mayfield scrambled to the left side of the field to get out of bounds, stop the clock, gets hit by Greg Stroman Jr. He's like our right cornerback, maybe a backup. And 15-yard penalty. Okay, maybe it was deserved. It looked like it was deserved. But at the end of the day, who's to say that Baker Mayfield doesn't try to play games? Try to stay in, like, you know, juke him out, pretend like he's running out of bounds.
That did happen.
That's right. So that's what I'm getting to. Who's to say that Baker Mayfield's not going to, you know, turn away and run up the field? You know, you juke him out. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because later in the game, and I got very heated over it, Mike Evans caught a pass. And Mike Evans looked like he was doing the exact same thing Baker Mayfield was doing. He caught the ball on the sideline, looked like he was going down, looked like he was going out of bounds.
Mike Evans had a field day on our cornerback.
Our free safety, Elijah Hicks, who was actually in for Eddie Jackson, who had gotten injured, let up on the play. Did not put a lot of energy into it, did not put a lot of energy into the tackle, did not go full throttle, did not try to push him out of bounds. And what happened? Because of his lack of effort, Mike Evans ran up the field for an additional 30 yards before he got tackled. So my point is, how can you decipher if a guy should play at 100% or if he should pump the brakes and not make the tackle? Because what's going to happen is these NFL players are going to start to take advantage of guys taking their foot off the gas. And those 15-yard penalties are crucial, right? Like, for example, what happened with Baker Mayfield, that was a 15-yard penalty. There's 20 seconds left in the second half. That's 15 yards. That gets them in field goal range. That's a game changer. That could change the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
So I think that's bullshit. I hate that penalty. I think they need to regulate it. I think they need to figure something out. I get it. You want to protect the players, and that's priority. But come on.
I feel like the refs should use their best judgment on it too. Like, you know, it's on some of the players too, because you're running full throttle at this guy. You want to make sure you get him out of bounds because you don't want to get him you don't want him to get any more yards on your defense. So as soon as you see that he's out of bounds, maybe try to like dodge somehow, like or slide underneath. And if the refs see that you're making effort into sliding or trying to, like, you know, like, oh shit, you know, he is going out of bounds, you know, I'm going to try to not throw all my energy in him. And, you know, the ref should have to make a judgment call then. Okay, I saw that he tried to avoid the tackle, and, we're not going to call a penalty on this guy because he was putting effort into trying to make sure that he didn't hit him out of bounds.
No, I couldn't agree more.
Joe, I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the dog.
No, Joe, you make some good points, but
come on.
that makes me how many times do you see a penalty on a quarterback? Just a hit that's
roughing
just
the passer,
unbelievable.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, and they're trying to make the game safer. I mean, it's still a pretty, it's a dangerous sport. They say, I remember hearing, this was a long time ago, that one game of football is it's like the toll that it puts on your body is 7 car crashes. I think it's medium speed car crashes.
Oh, shit.
In your
that's
car.
That's a wild stat.
Or something like that, I heard. I don't know how they calculate that, but that is. So I mean, it's definitely. They're trying to make it safe.
I have an example.
Is why they have short careers.
Yeah. I have an example of a roughing the passer call that I thought was hilarious, and it kind of exposes the NFL penalty system in a way. I saw a video earlier this week. It happened in the Seattle Lions game just this Sunday, and Jared Goff did a play-action play, and he pretends like he still has the ball, hands it off to his running back. His running back runs up the field, whatever. What's hilarious is 5 seconds, literally, dude, you can count it, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. 5 seconds after Goff got rid of the ball, a defensive back comes from way in the backfield and fucking slams Goff to the ground. And Goff goes to the ground what the fuck? What the fuck? He hit me late.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
It's literally a play action. You literally hid the fact that you handed the ball off to your running back, but then you're all upset that the guy comes zooming in and, sacks you or whatever. Yeah. So it's there's a fine line. I think what you said is best, Joe. I think there should be a real fine line between
use your best judgment.
These referees need to start using their best judgment, and I think that's it. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
So to get back on the field,
yeah.
How long do you guys think he averages holding onto the ball for? Not just in the pocket. This is average, time he holds onto the ball.
Well,
the average quarterback is 2 seconds.
Yeah.
2 seconds or less.
Well,
Fields
his is definitely above 2 seconds.
Fields is 4.29 seconds.
That's awful.
So you cannot
4.9 seconds.
4.29.
Oh.
So almost 4.5 seconds.
Yeah.
So we cannot. I know everyone's blaming this offensive line, but dude, we gotta give this offensive line somewhat of a break. This brings it back to Tom Brady saying that if you're holding onto the ball longer than 2.7 seconds, you're holding onto the ball too long.
Yeah.
So he needs to get rid of the ball faster. Another thing that someone mentioned, I forgot who I heard this from, but he's lacking anticipation throws. Meaning that you're anticipating your wide receiver's going to run this way. And I think that's kind of why he sees that receiver, but he's worried that a defensive guy is going to come up and intercept the ball.
Justin Fields' job is supposed to guide the wide receiver.
And Dan Orlovsky said that if you're a rookie QB and you're starting, that's how you learn how defenses work, by throwing. He's you're going to throw some interceptions. That's going to happen. But then you start learning from those mistakes. So you need to just start slinging the ball. He took 6 sacks yesterday, and 4 of those sacks were on him. So 23 QBR, ranked 31st.
What was the QBR?
23.
Is that league minimum?
Really?
Yeah,
that's got to be close.
No, league minimum. I think
wow.
average is 50, I believe. I want to say, but I don't know.
What is the lowest QBR? Is it just 0?
I think so. So they the way they do it.
That must be a record. 23.
Yeah, that's right now. It's 30.
I'm gonna look that up. It's not. What's the lowest QBR rating you can have?
So, but seriously, that just shows that yes, there's a whole boatload of issues on the Bears, but Justin Fields needs to be that guy that he needs to be the damn fire extinguisher to the fucking flames, dude. And he's not the fire extinguisher. It's a great analogy.
In the last 27,
dude.
In the last 27 starts, Fields is 5-22. In the last 27 starts, not good.
And to answer the question I asked, lowest quarterback rating possible is a 0.
Yeah. So
to be eligible for it, to qualify, you have the quarterback has to have at least 10 pass attempts, 0 touchdowns, a completion percentage of 30% or less, and then there's a couple other things. So you got to have a bad day. Let's put it that way.
So his PFF grade was worse against the Bucks than it was against the Packers. So he's not even getting better. According to on paper, he's not getting better. Right now he's ranked 19th best for running, what he's known for.
Yep.
So he's just above Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy's like 20. 30 best for passing in PFF.
You know what's funny as fuck about that, Joe? You are just feeding the argument I made earlier. Brock Purdy plays for the Niners. Perfect example of a guy who's a mid-ass quarterback who can have such a wonderful team around him and be successful. So again, I'm going to go back to it. You got to be a Lamar Jackson, you got to be a Niners, or you got to be an Eagles. That's how you're successful in this goddamn league. And the Bears are F. Everything that the Bears did this week, they get an F. There's nothing that they did good.
So one thing I want to bring up, and this is not football related. It's pretty funny. I'm just kind of laughing to myself quietly inside about this. We're getting two different sort of like emotions right now. I feel like Joe is talking in like a really disappointed, saddened tone, which is pretty funny. And you're over here in like an anger.
I am fucking angry.
We never had a quarterback.
So we have anger and sad. What is this? The movie, that Pixar movie that came out?
Emotions.
Yeah, you know.
The Mochi movie?
No,
I know what you're talking about.
They have like sadness, anger, whatever. Moving on, I just thought that was pretty funny. You sound very like depressed and sad
it's
over
very depressing
talking
reading
about
this
this.
Extremely
stuff.
depressing.
I had to read this stuff
It
the last 5 days. Anyway, so
this podcast would be so much more enjoyable if we could come on here and just be happy,
rant about how
Imagine just like not, or for once, having a positive freaking
Hey, maybe
podcast,
that's why
dude.
there's been a dark cloud over Chicago.
Why does Chicago
sports suck?
Why does Chicago sports suck, dude? I know the
Big
Cubs
market
won in
teams,
2016. Man. The Cubs had a good run. They should have won more than one, right? But the Bears are disgustingly bad. The Bulls are disgustingly bad. The White Sox are fucking terrible.
You know what's funny though? If you want to break down team by team by team, this city is just cursed with injuries.
To bring that
up.
up.
Hold on, for a second though. Hold on. Like I have examples, bro. Like the Bulls. What's his name? Lonzo Ball. Dude, the Bears had so much momentum. They were fucking solid. Lonzo Ball goes down. Dude's hasn't been back in 3 years. It feels like.
Derrick Rose was always hurt.
The White Sox.
Yeah.
You know what? That's a whole different. I can make a whole podcast on that. But the amount of injuries the Sox have had. I mean,
dude, honestly, Brandon.
My boy Liam Hendricks got cancer, man. I mean, I'm not making jokes. I'm just saying, like, it's horrible. It's
honestly,
so many
Brandon,
bad things happening.
This is a serious question, and I'm not lying. This is for the Bulls and the White Sox because Jerry Reinsdorf. Yeah. Did Jerry Reinsdorf sell his soul to the devil to get Michael Jordan? Because imagine, like everything after Michael Jordan. Yeah, you guys want to.
I think there's an element of luck in sports. I think that's.
Yeah, but how could you be that unlucky?
Tom Brady. You draft hold on a minute. You draft a guy like Tom Brady in the fucking 8th round, 30th pick, and he ends up being the greatest quarterback of all time. When the Bears are drafting this guy number 1 and this guy's going number 1. Look, another example of that. Alex Smith, the 49ers quarterback. I can't remember who drafted him. I think it was the Niners. Was drafted number 1 overall. Aaron Rodgers was drafted 22 in that same draft. Yeah. Who was the better quarterback? Sometimes it's luck, man. I mean, look, it takes scouting. You got to have a good scouting team, so it's not all luck. But
maybe the Packers have that method figured out.
Dude, we've been blessed with phenomenal athletes in Chicago. Arguably, the greatest running back of all time, and Walter Payton, of course. The greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan. We've been blessed with great players around.
I will say though,
we should be winning more games.
Hey, so since we traded for Chase Claypool, we haven't won a game.
That's a whole nother. That's hysterical.
Hey man, but Joe,
that's a whole nother podcast.
But Joe, you did send that picture earlier this week, which I really appreciated. I honestly think it might even be better than what you sent. So Joe had sent in our little group chat a picture of the projected draft order of the 2024 draft.
I think we might be better than that.
And they had, and it said that the Bears, it might be vice versa, whatever.
Yeah.
But Bears and Panthers projected 3rd and 4th finish, which means the Bears would get both picks since they traded DJ Moore. We know this.
There's Texans and
Bro,
Cardinals.
I swear to you, I think the Bears can get the number 1 and 2.
Yeah, the way it's looking.
You know what I mean?
So
Yeah, and this is maybe trailing
We'll
off,
take the
kinda,
2-3,
but,
whatever.
it's
but-
really, just imagine if Justin Fields showed some signs of life and the Bears didn't have to consider drafting Caleb Williams or another quarterback.
Yeah.
Imagine the Bears have their guy in Justin Fields. Going into next year with 2 top 5 picks, we draft an O lineman and a D lineman.
Right now,
How perfect would that
look
be?
good. Yeah, it would look
That would
good,
be
man.
amazing. But now
It's looking
we're
like-
wasting another pick on a fucking quarterback.
Yeah.
And it's going to
Yeah,
take
it's
time to
fucking
develop,
horrible.
and history's going to repeat itself.
That's what I'm saying.
This guy's going to suck because he's a Chicago Bear.
If we draft Caleb Williams, are we having the same conversation 3 to 4
Probably.
years from now?
I mean, we
Absolutely
have no
we
reason
are, dude.
to be optimistic
Well, how do we
about
prevent
quarterbacks in
this
Chicago.
from happening then? That's the question.
Dude, oh, I brought this up to Andrew. This was just between me and him.
Nathan
Just
Peterman.
random conversation. And I wanted to save it for the pod, so I didn't go too much into it. And I'm not going to. But what did I tell you the other day? I said the Bears have to stop prioritizing skill positions.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, skill positions are a lot easier come and go. Yes, there are absolute studs. You got your Devontae Adams of the world, your Justin Jeffersons, your Jamar Chases. List goes on and on. I get it. But we have skill positions. But the Bears need to build from within, man. You got to start in the lines, dude. You got to have a good O line. You got to have a good D line.
Ooh.
Trenches is the key word. You got to start in the trenches. Develop skill positions.
Hey, screw it. How about instead of drafting a quarterback?
Wait, hold on, right?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Develop,
you are
no,
100%
but
correct.
develop
yes.
the skill positions.
Yes.
Running backs,
Yes.
you can get from anywhere.
Yes.
Wide receivers,
You
flash in the
can
pan.
pick a good running back. They're very easy to come by in this league.
Dude, you don't have to draft a good running back. It's nice to have a guy like Bijan Robinson. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, dude,
So you're saying maybe
if you have a good O-line, you're going to have a good running back, in my opinion. I
100%.
feel like that's the way it works.
I don't know what the Bears
Does anybody
need
need
to
a
do.
beer?
I'm all right.
I'm good.
Thank you.
But
All right.
how about a crazy thought? Since the Bears can't seem to get it right over quarterbacks, how about we just draft the 2 best quarterbacks in this fucking draft, dude?
Andrew.
One of them is going to be fucking bad. Obviously, that's
Andrew.
not realistic and that's not going to happen. But it's just like a fun thing
I was
to
going
joke
to say
about.
that might be the craziest thing. The second craziest.
Well, I wasn't
thing
being
I've ever heard.
serious. I was just saying at this point they
I
fucking
know
should.
I know what you
Hey,
mean, though.
do you have that towel?
Yeah, I was
Fucking
there.
shit. Yeah.
So, So, Baker Mayfield got rid of the ball, averaged 2 seconds.
Dude,
or
Baker
less.
Mayfield had a great game, and yeah, that was against the
And-
City
and
Bears,
guess what?
but
And
he
guess-
still threw the ball really well.
And he ran for more yards than Fields.
Yeah.
What Fields is known for.
Hats
So,
off to Baker Mayfield, and that's signs of obviously his career hasn't gone the way he'd like, but at least
I think-
he did good against a
I
really
think Baker,
shit team.
I think Baker Mayfield's a little underrated.
Hey, what do good teams do?
They win games.
Or what do good quarterbacks do? They beat up on bad fucking teams.
Yeah.
That's what makes
The better
you good.
teams beat up on the good
Yeah,
teams.
if you're better, you are supposed to
I mean,
win that
the
game.
bad teams. Yeah.
And Baker Mayfield went out there and balled out. You gotta tip your cap.
And then the final thing on the quarterbacks, I don't know if you guys knew this, but they cut Nathan Peterman.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wow.
So our
So that
backup,
means
who's our backup going to be?
Bajent, Tyson Bajent.
We just drafted him, right?
Undrafted rookie free
Or-
agent.
And the only reason that he
Undrafted,
wasn't
okay.
drafted, I feel like, is because he played on a Division II team, but he was setting NCAA records when he played
Yeah,
in college.
I mean, he looked good in
So-
preseason against the Bills.
We already talked about Chase Claypool, how we haven't won a game since we traded for him. And I brought this up to Andrew earlier in the week that maybe we need a Michael Irvin approach. I remember in the 90s.
No,
they-
how about we just sign Deion Sanders, dude?
Well,
He's
no,
playing
I'm
with
saying,
Colorado.
No,
I'm saying
dude,
him-
he would be the guy.
No, I'm saying
a
him.
fire, dude.
No, I'm saying
Everything
Michael.
he says is gold.
So Michael Irvin lost the game, and this was like in the playoffs or something, and the team kind of sucked. And Michael Irvin's like, he just went in and said, "I want this fucking guy gone. I want this fucking guy gone." He's like, "This guy sucks. This guy sucks." And then they were good the next year. Does DJ Moore need to go in there and be like, "Hey, we know DJ Moore's good."
Yeah.
I mean, every time they throw him the ball, He catches it.
That is
I
not
think
a,
we have a
that's
good
not a
receiving
bad
core,
idea.
bro.
That's
Yeah,
not
I
a
know.
bad idea, but I mean, you got to be like a Peyton Manning type of freaking player
To be able
to
to say that, yeah.
You know, like even with DJ Moore being as good as he is, like he has no right to come into
Which
the
circles
clubhouse.
back to what I said
Yeah.
earlier. Our longest tenured Bear, and we might be wrong, is probably fucking Cody Whitehair. Like the Bears don't have, dude. The Bears, and this is another issue. The Bears don't have a true fucking leader on this team.
Right,
Not
it's
on
all
either
young.
side of the field.
That's why they're.
Hey, those
If
days
Justin-
of Brian
listen,
Urlacher,
that's why there's so much
Brian,
drama.
The
right
leader,
now.
the leader on our team, right? The quarterback, the leader, literally admitted this week that he was robotic and that
Yeah.
his mind wasn't in the game. When you don't have a
That's
leader,
gonna bite him in the ass.
come on, man.
for saying
Like
that.
there's so many issues with this fucking team. There's so many.
If you had to guess, the offense or defense, who do you think played the best out of the Bears? I can tell you one thing: it wasn't either of them.
Yeah.
It
Dude,
was
the Bears
Dude,
can't
the
generate
freaking
any
special
fucking
teams.
turnovers.
It was
Yeah, the special teams.
the special teams.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
What did
that-
they do?
Remember they had the block
So-
field goal?
Oh yeah, that one play.
Stevenson?
Yeah.
Tyreek Stevenson.
I
on a
agree.
block field
The
goal.
special teams is carrying
and
us right
Santos
now.
had a 53-yard.
Imagine being an NFL team and your special teams is carrying you
The
in the
team,
season,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah, that was
What
good.
a joke.
Did you see what team was it?
What a
did you,
joke.
Did you? That reminds me. Did you see what the New England Patriots special teams did against the Bills? That one dude came flying in, swatted.
yeah.
You didn't see
No,
that?
I didn't see that.
Oh man, you're
No.
gonna have to check that one out.
So to get on the defense, we kind of talked about the offense enough.
Hey, actually, I think this is a good football question. You know, it will spark a good discussion and debate. So I'm just going to throw it out there. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Is Bill Belichick really the greatest coach of all time, or did he get exposed after Brady left?
I think it's.
That's a good question.
I think it's kind
that's
of
a good question.
Bro, that's gonna be like a Jordan LeBron debate, dude. Like that's gonna be like an age-old
No,
debate
because-
that will
No,
never
that is,
have an answer.
that is a good question.
That's a good question, dude.
Because-
It's a great question.
You know,
Well,
It's a great
Andy
question.
Reid's a stud, man.
Well, yeah, but the thing
The
is
Red
that
Rocket, if you guys thought that.
I think you have a better argument saying that Brady is the versus the Patriots coach because
You want to know what this whole thing exposes is that a coach can only be as good as their players
yeah.
takes them. You know, like if you don't have the players around you, the coach could be a very well-minded person, right? But that's
Yeah.
not going to really matter. What's going to matter is if you have a stud like Tom Brady at the helm of your team. You know, you have
Yeah.
nothing to worry about.
Well, the defense that you can make with Brady is that he left and won a Super Bowl with another team and made it to the playoffs every year with that team. So that's
Yeah.
the defense.
I mean,
Brady. So you can't argue and say that Brady's not good.
I'm not discrediting Bill Belichick. Yes, he's legendary.
I
legendary.
would take Bill Belichick over Matty Hughes right now, though.
Yeah,
I can
well,
tell you
yeah.
that
I mean,
much.
of course.
Dude, Bill Belichick's a good.
So,
good head
I'm not
coach.
saying he's not, but the whole point I was trying to make is that do we overvalue a head coach?
Dude, that goes for baseball. That
Yeah,
goes for every.
it goes for every
you
sport
have-
for sure.
If your players don't perform,
Dude,
it's going to make your manager look bad.
I'm
It's that
pretty
simple.
sure when Miami Heat had LeBron James,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that fucking head coach, I forgot his name, didn't do a single thing. LeBron ran that entire team.
Like,
you know?
okay, I'll give you an example. Think about the Atlanta Braves. If we're gonna move to baseball real quick for this portion, like, dude, they could have fucking, dude, I could be the Atlanta Braves manager, and with the amount of talent that they have, they'll be just fine, dude. Nothing's gonna change. You know what I mean? Like, because they have that much skill on their team. So I'm not saying that head coaches don't matter. Of course they do.
Yeah.
Like, look at what Deion Sanders. A good example of when they do matter is what you said, when a Deion Sanders type of
Yeah.
guy.
They
You know,
created winning culture
Colorado-
what they're supposed to do.
But yeah, exactly. Colorado was a mid-team, and now they're just lighting the world on fire. They're underdogs going into games and blowing their opponents out. Oh shit, what was I gonna say, dude? Come back to me.
No, the head coach's job, he's supposed to pour the oil and makes the machine well and smooth and run fine. He's supposed to keep players' egos in checks like that, provide leadership and all that.
Well,
the
Matty
play
McCoy-
calling and for sure.
he doesn't even do
But-
that.
But yeah, I mean,
But anyways, I got some things on defense. Yannick Ngakoue, 2 missed sacks.
Yeah, Yannick Ngakoue, baby.
Hey, Joe, you love saying that guy's name. Say it, Joe. Hey, say it. Say it, Joe.
I'm not saying it.
Say it.
Missed 2 sacks after getting past the offensive line. The defense in total had 15 missed tackles on the defense. You're not going to win games missing tackles, especially we hired this dude, Yannick Ngakoue, to get past the offensive line to sack the quarterback, and he got on to Mayfield, and Mayfield was able to get him off, which is embarrassing. But
Ngakoue.
I feel like Mayfield is a leader, dude. Like
he is.
Mayfield isn't the most talented quarterback out there.
You can see the passion.
Yeah, like
in Baker
he just has that fucking
aura,
aura, dude.
He has the attitude.
He has that attitude, that presence of like, bro, I'm gonna fucking win this game for us, you know?
Yeah, that's what the Bears need.
Fields looks like he's
Baker
defeated
Mayfield
all the time.
Joe kept on saying on Sunday, Justin Fields looks like he's about to cry. It's so true, dude.
He looks defeated.
He does.
So we move on to the coaches and staff. I mean, we kind of talked about this. Luke Getsy calling 3 times in a row. Then Levante David had to say, he basically said that they called a screen. It was the same formation. Everybody knew it was coming. Everyone on the defense knew the screen was coming. They sniffed it out.
The Bucks said that.
Yeah, the Bucks linebacker.
Levante
David. Yeah.
David
So knew it was coming. So, yeah, I put down here in my notes that it almost feels like at this point that for Luke Getsy, it's almost not even malpractice, it's almost intentional. I mean, it almost kind of seems like that. What's up?
This might be an issue with the bubbles. You're going to be hearing that shit all podcast.
No, the speakers are, the microphone's here.
Oh. Well, how did it pick up last time?
You heard it last time?
Maybe I thought I heard it last time.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's not the case, then I was going to say, because, all right, sorry.
So funny story. Yeah, sorry, guys. Never mind. You know what?
No, say it.
Funny story, right? So, you know, obviously this isn't a professional fucking setup, and we have a fish tank over here. And last time I was listening to the podcast back, and I thought I heard like a bloop, and I thought I heard like the fish moving under the camera. But if the speaker's over here, I probably didn't hear that correctly.
I think there might be a microphone on the webcam.
Maybe.
But, so, who knows?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
So, I already said that it almost feels like Luke Getsy's play calling is almost more intentional than malpractice at this point. That he's intentionally trying to get the Bears to lose.
Joe, remember what I said last week about establishing the running game?
Yeah.
Take a guy like couple more examples here, like going back again to kind of what I talked about with Lamar and the Niners, but take a team like Miami. Like, you have a guy like Tua Tagovailoa, who honestly,
I thought was pretty mediocre.
He's
probably should have retired.
He's all right.
Well,
but
I
think what makes Tua, first of all, I think the team just has a lot of spunk. I think they gotta have a lot of momentum. But I think take a guy like Raheem Mostert. When you have a guy like Raheem Mostert, who in my opinion, you dropped him, who in my opinion is a mid-level running back. You can get him off waivers, caliber type of player. I'm not saying he's horrible, but when you get a guy, when you have a team like Miami, who, you know, they're doing well on offense. You have Tua, you know, hitting his passes. You have guys like Weedle. What is his name? Waddle, Jalen Waddle, and you have, of course, Tyreek Hill and Getsy, etc. Whatever. I think Getsy might be on New England now, actually. But the bottom line is, Raheem Mostert last week, 18 rushing attempts, 121 yards for 2 touchdowns. When you can establish a run game in the NFL, you play better. You control time of possession. You do better on those pressure-filled third and shorts, etc., etc., etc. You alleviate pressure from the quarterback. You just do. We talked about it last week. The Bears' running game was atrocious. What do you think they did this week, Joe? How about we guess? How about we make this a game? What do you think Khalil Herbert did? In 7 rushing attempts, how many yards do you think Khalil Herbert had?
15 yards.
35.
35.
That's fine. 5 yards per attempt.
Yeah.
But what fucking NFL team has their main running back rush for 7 attempts? You have guys like Derrick Henry rushing for 30 attempts a game, dude.
I told you, Roshan Johnson's going to be.
But I know you're going to say that, but here's the thing. Roshan Johnson, Roshan Johnson ran for 32 yards. How many attempts do you think it took him to run 32 yards?
2.
4 attempts.
4 attempts.
You know what that means? The Bears had 11 rushing attempts on the entire game.
No, it was pretty atrocious, like you were saying.
The entire game.
They couldn't get a run game going. They obviously couldn't get a pass game going either.
Yeah, and that's a big deal. Also, like running or rushing 30 attempts in a game.
I think Luke Getsy just seems like he doesn't really trust Fields, and Fields seems like he doesn't trust himself either. So I don't know. It's just.
It wraps back to what you said, Andrew. Like it's really easy to blame Justin Fields. At the end of the day, he's the quarterback. At the end of the day,
if you're not performing,
he's always in the spotlight. He's not performing.
We would not be sitting here if Justin Fields did his job. You know, it would be a different.
Oh man, I'm disagreeing with you. How do you expect him to do his job with
perform when he should perform?
Around
when he should perform. He still has, they have decent receivers.
DJ Moore
is a good receiver. Why aren't you targeting those guys more often?
Yeah,
and granted, DJ Moore had a pretty good game. They
targeted him 7 times. DJ Moore.
Yeah, he had a pretty good game, but he's not making the throws when it's necessary. He's not capitalizing in those moments. He's not capitalizing in any moment.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes. Look, I know we always said we can't keep.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. I don't give a fuck who the receivers are. Yeah. I don't care if it's Justin Jefferson. If you don't have any time to get rid of the ball, if your O-line is full of rookies, free agents, and backups,
though. That's asinine. You saw the video with that wide receiver wide open.
I agree.
You saw that video.
I agree. He's made some mistakes, but to be honest with you, dude, like nobody's perfect. But the reason why everything is so high, like scaled higher, is because of the situation. Like, everything that Fields does, he's under a spotlight. Everything he does, it's so much more important, and it's in more of a spotlight, dude.
Wake up, kid. You're not in college anmore.
I'm just saying, I get it.
The spotlight is going to be on you, and you need to freaking handle it. Exactly. We're not in Kansas anymore. You're either gonna handle it well, or you got to get out of the league. Simple as that. Yeah. You know.
Well,
you're a quarterback for a professional, legendary team like the Bears.
We'll know more.
Historic franchise. Maybe not for the right reasons, but if you can't handle it, dude, you got to give it up.
But take a step back. This is going to sound ridiculous.
My head wasn't in the game, dude.
No.
Get the hell out of here.
I mean, put yourself in that situation. We've all played pickup sports.
Yeah, but it's important.
Imagine playing, like, we've all been in situations where we've played pickup sports, right? Where you're playing with a team and you get fucking decimated. You feel like, okay, I played kind of well, but you still lost.
Yeah.
Look, that's a bad example, but what I'm trying to say is, like, it's 50-50, dude. Justin Fields is as much to blame as the fucking coaching,
that's still bullshit,
as the defense,
and I disagree.
as the O-line.
Because even Justin Fields is the leader in this team, right? Even if the Bears have a bad game, even if the Bears have a bad game, it's Justin Fields' fucking job to get the freaking locker room in the right mindset and be the leader and the father figure of the fucking clubhouse or the locker room, whatever. Just because the Bears have a bad game doesn't mean Justin Fields needs to look like he's gonna fucking cry and say, "Oh, my head wasn't in the game." Who does that?
So
not only you're not winning in the media, you're not winning in the clubhouse, you're not winning on the field. The guy has nothing going for him.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll say that.
With you, dude, I said this at the preseason when I saw Tyson Bagent throwing to wide receiver 5s, and Justin Fields had reps all summer
Be a leader
with these wide receivers, and he's looking horrible in the preseason.
Yeah.
And then you got this undrafted free agent quarterback come in, and he looks better than you.
Be a leader.
Did I not say I was concerned when I saw that? And everyone's like, "Oh, dude, it's just the preseason.
This guy, yes,
relax."
Yes.
He did.
This guy did call it in. Before the season started,
it's concerning that there's a
he was going insane about this
quarterback or an undrafted free agent quarterback that came in and performed better than Fields with wide receiver 5s, while Fields was getting reps with the first string wide receivers, and he had no reps with them. I'm like, dude, this is fucking concerning. And obviously, it is a concern. It's more concerning now than ever.
That's off to you, Joe.
So,
but yeah, Justin Fields is just not.
I mean, you are the Bears expert, Joe, on the pod. So,
So
I would expect nothing less.
Just as an overall leader, just to sum it up, it's his job to make sure the clubhouse
where I
is
think
well
where
rounded,
I
for
think
sure,
where I
and he's
think
not
Fields
doing that.
where I think Fields needs to be held accountable is on his leadership. I think Fields is a horrible leader. I think that his morale is always low. I think he just isn't mature enough to pick up his squad. I'll hold him accountable all day, 100% with that. From a skill perspective, I don't think Fields has the organization or the pieces around him to succeed. And that's where I give Fields a little bit of a pass. Now, again, don't forget, we are only through 2
he's not
weeks
gonna
of
get
it.
a pass, though.
Don't forget, and that's fine. We're all going to disagree, but
I know, but I'm
it is
saying, like, he's
2
still gonna
weeks.
lose his job
It's 2
regardless.
weeks. We heard what Fields had to say. We heard what he had to say about how he felt robotic and how, he feels like he's a product of his coaching and that he needs to kind of start spreading his wings and being a playmaker himself. And we'll see what happens in week 3.
I mean, that's a stupid thing to say from him, though.
That's what he said.
That's gonna create a lot of issues in the club. Like, you're blaming other people for you playing poorly.
Yeah, but then he came back and said that it was. But
well, yeah,
because
you realized he messed up.
yeah, but I'm saying that was a mistake to even say anything. Like I said, I respect people being honest about stuff, like how you feel. But dude, now you're going against the Chiefs, which we all know how that's an automatic loss. I mean, I don't care what you say.
My God, yeah.
And now you better play out of your mind, Fields, because you just called out the coaching staff and you said fuck it, I'm gonna play football like I know how to play football. Well, yeah, dude, if you go out there and you look like shit, you just told this whole media that you're gonna go play how you play.
I mean, it's just like stupidity.
You're gonna look bad.
Why would you say something like that? The Bears have enough issues as it is. Now freaking you're calling out management for,
did you hear about what's going on with Alan Williams?
It's a terrible situation. Like, why?
Well, real quick, I want to bring up, and I want your guys' opinion on this. So the Bears are going up against the Chiefs, and what I personally think is going to happen, and later on we're going to make predictions on the scores and things of that nature, but very likely the Bears go 0-3. I have a good feeling that what's going to happen is we're going to be in this game. Justin Fields somehow is going to pull a rabbit out of his ass. Justin Fields, we're going to end up losing by, it's going to be a close game. That's kind of the feeling I get against the Chiefs, unpredictable. But statistically, in NFL history, only 11.5% chance of making the playoffs.
I was going to say, what is it, like 10% or less?
11.5% chance of making the playoffs after an 0-2 start for a team. Yeah. So the Bears already, statistically, having started 0-2, have a 11.5% chance. Now we have the Chiefs in week 3.
I think the only ones that have ever done that, wasn't it? I want to say
Cincinnati does it every year, bro.
Do they? Okay.
Yep.
Or Rodgers did it once.
Brady did it. Brady did it
with the Bucks, right?
And funny enough, I heard this on a pod. I'm not just a genius, but it was the same year that Drew Bledsoe got injured. They started the Patriots started 0-2. This might have been 2002.
Drew Bledsoe. Brady came in.
That's when Brady came in. They were 0-2. Brady came in. They ended up fucking getting the playoffs, and we all know what happened. The Tuck rule. I think that was the Tuck rule year. But now we got 0-3. Assuming the Chiefs beat us.
So I think we all are aware that we're probably going to be in another rebuild mode.
And do we tank?
Step back.
Fuck, man. 0-3? Come on.
Do we tank?
Dude.
Question is, do we tank?
Oh,
I think we put in Bajent, man. What do we have to lose at this point? If I was the coach,
actually, I don't think. Listen. This season is lost already. We're not going to make the playoffs. Yeah. This team is far from making the playoffs. But the point that you just said, bringing Bajent, I think that's a stupid idea. Number one, but listen, okay. Obviously give this season to Justin Fields. Let him hopefully develop into a serviceable quarterback.
You were just saying he's
awful. But listen, let me talk for a second. But what if the Bears send a statement to Justin Fields and bring in Bajent?
I see what you're saying.
If you just let me fucking talk, bro. Damn. If the Bears bring in Bajent for one game, maybe it kind of clears, or I don't know, it lights something under Justin Fields.
Yeah, it starts a fire.
I'm not saying fucking,
So I want to get into the Alan Williams. I don't know if you guys heard, he resigned. Alan Williams will not be calling the defensive plays anymore. Coach Matt Eberflus will be calling the defensive plays now. Supposedly the whole I heard that Charles Tillman, former cornerback for the Bears, Hall of Fame ballot, great cornerback, one of the best ever in the history. I think he actually might be the best in the history of cornerbacks. Charles Tillman, he was that good. He's known for the peanut punch, which I believe they did. I think I forgot who it was. They did do a peanut punch
on Sunday.
Yeah, on Sunday.
We saw that.
So
somebody, we had. But of course, the Bears could. Did the Bears even recover it? Probably not.
No, I don't think they did.
I don't think they did
unfortunately.
either.
But anyways, I guess I didn't know this about Charles Tillman. I guess he's an FBI agent, and there was rumors sparked that the FBI was raiding Halas Hall. And I guess that's false news. That did not happen.
Really?
No. So Alan Williams, supposedly they said he was doing some illegal activity. He said his attorney came out and spoke and said it's false news. He's resigning due to health and family problems. So God bless him. Hope everything's okay with Alan Williams. But yeah, I mean, after that first game, I mean, I don't really blame the guy to not want to play for the Bears, coach for the Bears anymore anyway.
Any excuse, right?
So, but not, I mean, hopefully everything is okay with his family. I mean, hopefully they recover, have a good, speedy recovery if anything is going wrong with that. On that, too, Ryan Poles' birthday is today, so happy birthday, Ryan Poles.
And
happy birthday, Mr. Poles.
And my birthday's tomorrow.
All right, so injuries, we kind of went over that. Braxton Jones is out, left tackle. Larry Borum will be in for his place. We still have Tevin Jenkins out.
You know what? Sorry, Joe. We're going to have a fucking birthday podcast for you next week.
Ryan, Andrew. Oh, yeah, that's right. Birthday boy.
Thank you, man.
You'll see what that means. We're going to have a birthday podcast next week. Stay tuned for episode 3.
I'm excited.
Yep.
But, our offensive line is looking pretty thin. I know Lucas Patrick did not practice today due to an illness, so hopefully he has a recovery because we really do not have. I mean, I don't even think we have a backup center at this point. He is our backup center.
Yeah.
It's getting pretty thin, the offensive line. Hopefully they're able to figure it out and work things through. Then, Kyler Gordon, he's still obviously out for IR. I think he's going to be out for the rest of the year, which is very unfortunate. Our cornerback. And he was his second year, so, I mean, this is the real good year that you usually shine on year 2, your first year, your rookie year. Okay, so predictions. We kind of covered all the main stuff that I wanted to cover. We're at 1 hour and 6 minutes.
Yep.
So Bears versus Chief predictions. Then we're going to get into some NFL plays of the week, and then we'll get into baseball. So my predictions. So I want to say too. So at the end, the loser of the prediction score for the Bears is going to have to do a shot of Malort. The way that we're doing the prediction is who's ever furthest away from their prediction score. So let's say that you picked the Bears.
Fuck.
I like that idea.
The Bears at whatever, and you picked the team that they're playing. However far away the two scores are, we're going to add them together, and whoever has the highest score is the loser. And they will have to do a shot of Malort. So my prediction right now for the Bears versus Chiefs, 16-38, Bears lose, Chiefs win. So I think that the Chiefs are a former Super Bowl
just wait until you hear mine.
Bro.
So I mean, I know what's the spread. I don't even know what the spread is on this game. Maybe Vegas probably has
and
them at a touchdown.
It's in Kansas City too.
At Arrowhead Stadium. Yeah. I'm telling you, I was off by 4 points the last prediction, and everyone said I was crazy and cuckoo for that one. So I'm guessing 16-38.
Joe, sorry we were just trying to be optimistic for week 2 against a shitty Bucks team, but hey.
I
guess we didn't know the Bears sucked that bad.
I'm sticking with my bold prediction, dude, and this is going to be laughable, but I seriously think
at this point the Bears are laughable.
But I'm going 42-6.
I don't, dude. It's not unrealistic.
Hey, buddy. I hope you like Malort. That's a bold prediction.
Hey,
it's not too far away from
bold
mine,
statements, man.
Yeah, I see that. Dude, I'm going to take a different approach. This might bite me in the ass. I might have to take a shot of Malort next week. I think that the Bears are going to find a way. They're going to lose this game. They're going to find a way to go 0-3, of course, against the
Fields
Chiefs.
is going to play football.
But I think Fields is going to find a way to actually play football this week.
We'll see.
Zero reason to believe the Bears are going to do anything worth a damn, especially to a team like the Chiefs. So we played this bad, and now we're going into Kansas City. We're going to get decimated by this team, dude. Justin Fields is not going to do anything. You think he's going to ball out against the Chiefs?
To be fair,
he wouldn't ball out
in all fairness,
dude, I'm your side with this.
Yeah, hell.
In all fairness, if I can just defend myself, the Chiefs.
Take his robotic ass back to the locker room, dude.
In all fairness, the Chiefs didn't play well in Week 1. They actually lost. In Week 2, I think they beat the Jaguars 17-9, which is not a huge margin. And if you saw the highlights or watched that game, you would have seen how many times the Chiefs turned the ball over. They had a lot of issues. I'm not saying the Chiefs suck. I'm not saying they're going to struggle long term. But short term, they're not playing that well. Yeah. And I think this is it's just Chicago sports for you. You know, they dangle something in front of your face against a really good team. They show up, they show out, and then they lose. You know, that's how it is. So, long story short, I have the Bears losing a conservative 24-17. Lock it in.
Well, we all know who's taking that damn shot, right, Joe?
We'll see.
To be honest,
freaking
man,
Bob over here.
Oh, you got to realize, man, they got Chris Jones, their defense.
They do it. Chris Jones.
He's back,
well.
and he's going to be putting a lot of pressure on Fields, man. And they got Travis Kelce
Through
back.
with this fucking O-line. Oh shit.
So,
hey, is it too late to change?
No,
I actually feel so
comfortable. Oh, locked in.
I actually feel so comfortable with my 42-6 fucking prediction.
I told you it's not that crazy.
That is actually
Joe,
insane.
are you coming over Sunday to watch it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
What time is it at?
3, because it's in Arrowhead. So usually Eastern games are later. It's at 3:25.
I'll look it up.
3:25.
It's insane to freaking think, you know.
But I didn't realize
42-6 is even plausible in the
not
NFL.
Eastern
But
games.
here we are.
AFC games are usually. I feel
it's
like
3:25.
Here we are.
So we got our predictions in. Told you how that worked. So we're gonna do something a little different at the end too. Is say an NFL play of the week on offense and defense. So for offense, I have Russell Wilson's Hail Mary pass.
That was gnarly.
So the cool thing about this is I remember watching the 2011 Packers and Seahawks game, and this is back when, I don't know if you guys remember, they had the refs, the college refs, because they were on strike or protesting the actual NFL refs. So, and this is like this play back in 2011 when Russell Wilson threw the Hail Mary for a touchdown to win a game against the Packers. This actually brought the NFL refs back because of this play. Technically, the ref was right. His call. If the intended receiver had his hands on the ball, but so does the defensive guy, and they both came down for the touchdown. This was in 2011. It goes to the intended receiver, and the ref called the right play. He called a touchdown, and it was a touchdown. And the Packers tried protesting. They went in the locker room. They didn't even want to come out for a field goal or anything. They're like, that's BS. Like, this play, this should not be a touchdown. And, they actually ended up having to come back out. They kicked a field goal, and the Seahawks won. But Russell Wilson did the same thing. I couldn't believe it. I just happened to turn this game on. I wasn't, really that interested. And he threw that touchdown. I'm like, holy crap. It was like a 60-yard touchdown pass.
Well,
and they ended up losing anyways. But it was because they didn't get the 2-point conversion.
Joe, didn't that happen with Calvin Johnson? Do you remember that famous play with the Lions and the Bears?
I don't know
where Calvin Johnson caught the ball.
That's Brian Packers in Dallas. That's a prime example too.
Maybe,
so this was the Lions,
but there was a huge example with the Bears that the Bears were involved.
Yeah.
I think it was Calvin Johnson. He was still with Detroit. Ran in the end zone, dropped the ball on his way in, or caught the ball and let go of it too soon, but he clearly caught it.
Sure.
Yep.
So that was
a lot of referee issues on this episode. That's for damn sure.
So that was the offensive play of the week. I thought that was kind of cool because it brought back memories of that game. Because I used to always root for the opposing team, the Packers. The defensive play. I mean, I feel like this was a forced fumble by T.J. Watt. And he ran it back for a touchdown. I feel like I could almost say, the defensive play of the week is always T.J. Watt. I mean, that guy's just incredible. But I thought that was really impressive. The guy's just an animal.
Imagine having T.J. Watt on their team, dude.
Well,
just watching that every
That's another thing. Jalen Carter, I mean, it's looking better and better. But you know what? I want to end the podcast by saying, I don't really blame Ryan Poles for drafting an offensive lineman. That's what we needed. I mean, you look back at it now, and it looks like Jalen Carter would have been a better pick. But at the time, it wasn't. You can't predict the future, so at the time, he made the right decision.
Yeah.
And we will get on to baseball. And I want to ask you real quick, Andrew, because I did see like a highlight TV at work. I saw that the Milwaukee Brewers versus the Cardinals on Monday. The ball got stuck in the mitt, and he threw the entire mitt to the first baseman to get him out. I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that brings back memories to John Lester, because I know he had to do that a few times. Well, it's just quick thinking and smart thinking, you know.
Sure.
Sometimes these balls are hit so fast off the bat that it actually gets stuck in the glove and you can't pull it out. So, like Joe just said, you rip the glove off and you throw it at first, hoping the ball doesn't come out while it's in the air.
Right.
Very cool play. I did see that. So hats off to whoever threw that.
Yeah, I think it was the Brewers.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I did not watch that game, but yeah. So moving on to baseball, I have a lot to say, and some good, most of it is not so good. The last 10 games, the Cubs are at 3-7. That's really bad considering that we're in a tight wild card race. We had the second wild card race, our spot, pretty locked down. If the Cubs played 500 baseball the rest of the season, we probably would have stayed in the second wild card, potentially first wild card, because not even the Phillies have been playing all that well, right? So it sucks to see the Cubs falter like this. Justin Steele had 2 rough starts. That sucks. That pretty much destroys his Cy Young chances.
I was going to ask you, Andrew, after the last game, when we were there yesterday.
Yeah, we were. Great game.
And I was going to say, did the Cubs need that to get back on like a kickstart, back on the right track?
Well, of course. You always want to see
and a big successful win, like a blowout win.
You always want to see a team go out and perform like that, because not only are the players having fun, management's having fun. It's not a stressful game because you have it in the bag. It's just all around fun and a good winning environment. Over this bad stretch the Cubs have been on, we haven't been hitting well, we haven't been pitching well. And it's resulted to the Cubs only being a half a game above Miami for the third wild card spot. And I believe Miami lost today, which is good. The Cubs are currently losing right now 11-7. Mm-hmm. They did come back in the game, but I don't think it's going to be enough considering it's in the 8th inning.
Never know.
But as of right now, the Phillies still hold the number 1 wild card spot. Arizona's at number 2. And
I can't believe Arizona passed us.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you lose 6 out of 7 games in 1 month to a team that's right behind you, that's going to be an issue. I can't believe, the Cubs went down this road. We talked last week about the Arizona Diamondbacks. They have some good players on that team, and Merrill Kelly, Zach Allen, etc., Christian Walker, all of them. They are a very good team. They're going to be even better next year. And the Cubs, circling back to what I said, 3rd spot. Hopefully that sticks. Hopefully the Cubs make it in there. But I do want to bring up one thing about last game. Last game, the offense went crazy, right? It was we killed them. But Alexander the Great Canario, what a game that kid had. Something about Alexander the Great, that's what I'm going to refer to him as, because he is looking to be a stud. He's the Cubs' 14th best prospect in the system, and I want to bring that up. 14 is high in any system. If you're top 15 for sure, but the Cubs have one of the best farm systems in baseball. So if I would, my prediction that if Alexander the Great Canario was in any other organization, he would easily be top 10 without a doubt. 100%. So the kid is the real deal. We got him from the Chris Bryant trade, and that trade is looking out to be very good so far. Last year in the minor leagues, Alexander the Great Canario had 37 home runs. He was second in all of minor league baseball from that. He jumped from high A to the major leagues this year with the Cubs. So the Cubs, they fast-tracked him to the league. Very good. Some scouting reports that I've read on Alexander. Above average raw power. The kid is just, monster at the plate. He's going to hit a lot of dingers for the Cubs. Insanely fast bat speed. That's going to result in a lot of freaking power. So we're going to be seeing a lot of home runs to Waveland Avenue, 100% from this kid. That being said, though, there's a downfall from that. He's very aggressive at the plate. And what happens if you're very aggressive at the plate? You strike out a lot. So we're going to see some strikeouts from this kid. Hopefully, maybe like a Morel type player like Baez. Yeah, hopefully, he could actually make the appropriate adjustments, unlike Baez, and have a long, serviceable career. But he's very pull happy, so let's see. I mean, we're going to see a lot of homers and strikeouts from this kid. Excuse me.
Andrew, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
As the Cubs expert on the pod.
For sure.
How would you differentiate Pete Crow Armstrong from this guy? What's his name? Candelario?
No. Alexander the Great Canario.
Candelario. I apologize.
Put some respect on that boy's name.
Who's the better prospect? Who do you think is going to have a brighter future? I know this is a tough question.
That is a very, very good question. PCA, like, I get it. He hasn't been hitting all that well for the Cubs since he's come up, but I mean, that kid is the entire package. He has a very small frame. He's a very small guy compared to other big leaguers, of course. But PCA, they're just two totally different type of players, honestly. PCA is a defensive-minded speed demon. This kid is going to win multiple Gold Glove awards, and there's no debate about it. He actually, bold prediction, he's going to beat Arenado, out in his 10 streak of Gold Gloves. If PCA could make a serviceable bet in MLB, he's going to win many Gold Gloves.
That's the
100%.
main thing. That's what's super important.
Yes, the big question
he has
about
to be able
PCA is his entire bet.
Because I don't care what you say, man. You can have a guy like if you have look. I don't care how good your defense is, how good your speed is. If you have 9 Darwin Barneys on your team, you're not going to be good. You gotta have that. You gotta have that variety.
Yeah,
I think the Cubs do.
Yeah,
I think you can afford to have a couple defensive defensive studs because the Cubs do have some good offensive players.
The Cubs actually have a really good defensive team. Excuse me. We have Dansby Swanson, Gold Glove, Nico Horner, future Gold Glove, Cody Bellinger is a Gold Glove, first baseman and center fielder. Michael Tauchman is a stud in the field. Ian Happ, Gold Glove.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Andrew.
Yeah.
Why are the Cubs? Because I know whoever listened to it last week, we had a segment on like the wild card chase and for the NL specifically, who's going to get those final 3 spots, and we were pretty confident that the Cubs would be maybe the number 2 seed behind the Phillies, or maybe they'd even get one.
I actually had the Cubs taking the number 1 seed, but obviously that's not going to happen.
So let me ask you this: in the last week or so, things haven't looked great for the Cubbies. Why? And what do they need to do differently? What's plaguing them?
So quite frankly, everything. We gotten away from our roots of being a well defensive rounded team. In Colorado, how about that? Ian Happ he dropped the ball in the outfield, right? He overshot it or something. What happened the very next at bat? A 2-run homer.
Yeah.
So the Cubs right now, they haven't been playing the best defense. It's been kind of sloppy. We haven't been hitting other than like Nico Horner. Nico Horner's been good, but Nico Horner doesn't drive in runs. He gets on base and stuff. Mm-hmm. So if people aren't actively driving in Nico Horner, he's not going to be your home run hitter. That's for damn sure.
2 episodes in a row of asking Nick Madrigal to come on the pod.
Yeah, but the Cubs, their pitching has been an issue for sure. Justin Steele has looked terrible in his last 2 starts. Javier Assad, he's looked great, but
this game he looked good.
His last 2 starts he got roughed up, so he's kind of a big question mark. Michael Fulmer's injured; he just went on the IR. Adbert Adzalai, he's on the IL.
Even then, he was blowing a couple saves.
Yeah, and even then, exactly. Yep. He started to,
deteriorate.
For sure. So, the pitching needs to be better. Jordan Wicks, he didn't have that good of a game his last outing. So, I don't know what happened. I think just losing is contagious, just as like winning is contagious.
That's a good way to put it. Yep.
Like when the team is just not doing good, like the numbers are going to suffer unless you're some like freaking freak like Shohei Ohtani, you know. But I think the pitching is the main thing for sure. But very good question. All right, moving on. Also, Nick Madrigal just went to the IL.
Did he? I didn't know that.
He's going to be out for a little bit.
What happened to him?
I think a hamstring or something like that. Oof. Yeah, so he's going to be out for a little bit. Candelario could return next week, which is good. He's suffering a lower back issue, think back spasms. So that's never good.
Sounds like some of these might be why the Cubs also might not be doing good is because of injuries.
No, that's true, Joe. But what I will say, and this is something that I kind of thought about earlier, out of all the Chicago sports teams and all the injuries that every team has had to deal with, I will say I feel like over the years the Cubs have been a very healthy team. Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure. You know, in 2016, I always go back to that season, of course. But Schwarber, yeah, he tore his ACL in the first week of the season, and that was a big blow to the Cubs. But obviously, the Cubs had a great team. You know, you could have thrown anyone in Joe Maddon's spot, and we would have been good for sure. But Kyle Schwarber was that guy.
He came back to the World Series.
And honestly, I can't remember anyone else in that season who got hurt. So,
but not even 2016, just in general. If you like in general, how many impact injuries have they had? Like, they're not over here signing a Dansby Swanson and then he's getting injured for a year after.
Well, yeah, that's a testament to our athletic.
Good for you guys.
Department.
Because I do know, but that's a good point you bring up, because I truly feel like I put a lot of blame on the White Sox athletic department. I do. I think there's got to be something they're doing wrong.
There's no reason why all the players in the White Sox are going down like that.
Look,
there's no reason for it.
I will say, and this is
like
something I've
hammies,
heard.
obliques, groins. That should not be happening.
This is something that I've heard. It's been speculated. I don't know if there's any truth to it. I'll say it anyways. It might be controversial. It doesn't matter. But all of the White Sox players have come from Cuba. They come from Dominican Republic. They've come from all these different backgrounds, ethnicities. And something I've heard and I've thought about it is that those areas of the world, they are like these individuals grow up with malnutrition, things of that nature, weaker bones, and I think that there could be some truth to that, because when these guys are all coming to the United States, they're all playing for an MLB team, they're all getting injured a million times a year, and it's like at some point, like, is it their upbringing? Is it their workout regimens? I don't know what it is, but how much can you blame the actual White Sox training staff? Or is it just one of those things where these players themselves are just getting injured because that's just the way that their bodies are? You don't know. But nonetheless, it's very frustrating to deal with.
I also think it's kind of stupidity on certain players' faults, like Eloy. In spring training, how he tried jumping the wall, and in the process, he tore his pectoral muscle.
But how many people would actually tear it, though?
Well, maybe that's just, dude, maybe they got to treat their freaking bodies better. Maybe they got to eat better, work out more, because, I mean, Eloy is a big boy, but
who plays left field for the Cubs right now?
Ian Happ.
Happ, okay. If Happ goes up there and does exactly what Eloy did, do you think he's tearing his pec?
Probably not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm trying to make. So it's hard to say, dude. Do you blame the player themselves? Or, it's like buying a car, right? Sometimes you could buy a car that looks beautiful next to the next one. One's a lemon, one's not. Same with players. You could have a player that has all the talent in the fucking world, but maybe his body is just a fucking lemon. You don't know. But I agree. I don't think Ian Happ gets injured the way Eloy did. So you know what? The White Sox, not to switch gears too much, but real quick, I think the White Sox, with everything that they did, like,
athleticism.
They tried. They tried, but the whole thing about the White Sox was that they tried getting successful through international teams. They said, you know what, we are the hub of international teams. We're the hub of South America. We're going to be the hub of Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Cuba, etc. And they try to do that. They try to keep their contracts cheaper. And it didn't work out, man. They're not healthy players.
But, I mean, also, you got to give some credit where it's due to Rick Hahn and them.
They made some good trades.
They made some really good trades. They signed some good players. You know, the White Sox jumped from one of the worst farm systems to one of the best in just a few years. You know, in that time, you guys, like before Moncada, Eloy, Luis all came up, like I kind of compared the White Sox farm system to like how the Cubs was. You know,
it was good.
But before Rizzo and Ryan and Baez, and you know, with that being said, I'm not just being biased. I think that was one of the most hyped organization like farm systems in history. I can't recall a better farm system than what the Cubs had, but the White Sox came very close with their guys for sure.
Don't forget about Russell.
Dude, I'm almost positive the Cubs had like 3 top 10 players, like minor league players.
For Jake Samardzija, dude. That's a throwback. Jeff Samardzija.
It was Hamels. I forgot his first name, which he actually threw me a ball. So we traded Hamels and Jeff Samardzija to the Oakland A's. For Addison Russell and Billy McKinney. Billy McKinney, I think, now plays with the Yankees. I don't think he really amounted to much. Addison Russell, we all know what happened with him. What a disaster that was. He went through some legal trouble. He's playing for Japan now. Hopefully he's doing good, but Cole Hamels, not Cole Hamels.
Playing for Japan.
Yeah.
What do they make? Do they make good money in Japan, or?
Actually, I think it's Korea.
Compared to MLB, they don't make shit.
Probably, not comparable.
But it's big in Japan, right? It's kind of getting bigger.
Yeah.
Wait, Cole Hamels is in Japan?
No, not Cole Hamels. Jason Hamill, I think is his name. Jason Hamill. I couldn't remember his first name, but Jason. Well, let's just go with Jason. Jason Hamill. I was at the White Sox game, his very first game with the Oakland A's with Uncle Danny, and he actually threw me a baseball. You know, so it was kind of cool to see that. But covered all of that. Maybe I lost my train of thought on that topic.
No, understandable. I mean, how'd the Cubs do today? They lost. What does that mean? What does that mean for the organization going forward? They lost today. They got to get it together, man.
It definitely hurts because it's like a false flag, you know. Like we were 10 games under 500. We went on some crazy stretch where the Cubs were playing out of their mind, you know, top, winning percentage in the game, and now just to season's coming to an end, we're just losing games that we should be winning. So it's like it kind of brings up like, oh, okay, well, maybe we should have traded Marcus Stroman. Maybe we should have traded Cody Bellinger.
We talked about that.
And imagine like the returns that we could have got for Cody Bellinger, dude. We're talking about an MVP caliber player. Like his OPS is well above 900, dude. Batting 320, close to 330, dude.
You know what? You can make the argument though that if Marcus Stroman was still healthy, we wouldn't be having this conversation, and maybe the Cubs would be in a more.
I mean, Marcus Stroman. Marcus Stroman lit the league on fire to start the season. He was playing out of his mind, and then he went through like a 10-game stretch where he just got absolutely lit up, game in, game out, and he went on the IL for some crazy injury. He had a rib issue.
Yeah.
Like a rib poked something inside of his body, and it was like there was talks where he season-ending surgery and stuff like that, but he came back. I guess it wasn't as serious as I thought, but. It's just crazy, yeah. I mean, right now, dude, I could easily say that the Cubs might not make the playoffs, and I feel pretty confident saying that. The last time I checked, it was 11-7 in the 8th inning. We probably lost this game, but we should be losing to teams like the Pirates and stuff like that. In Colorado, how do you lose a series in Colorado?
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So I agree with what you said, and I think you can compare like the Marcus Stroman to like the Shane McClanahan, you just see the deterioration in front of your eyes, and then shit hits the fan. But on a lighter note, right? We'll see what happens with the Cubs. We'll see what happens with the Bears. There's a lot of excitement moving forward. I think even with the Bears, as miserable as it's been to watch them, I think there's a lot to look forward to. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, and we're looking forward to that. I think with the Cubs, same thing. I mean, they're in the midst of a potentially legendary playoff race. I mean, with this wild card and how close so many teams are. So extremely excited to see what happens in the coming weeks. But the real important question here is not any of that shit. The important question is, how many beers did each of you guys have at the Cubs game yesterday?
Too many.
I know. I need a number, dude.
That was a lot. I'm actually afraid to check my bank account, honestly. Like, I still haven't opened up my bank app.
Like, actually?
Yeah.
I had some mixed drinks too.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Dude, if a beer is $15, a mixed drink's got to be $30 fucking.
Yeah, like we went to the Cubby Bear before the game, drank there, ordered some food. At the game, of course, we left the game pretty sloshed, and then went out after the game as well. So,
it was a rough morning.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've been kind of battling, like, I've been nauseous all day.
So. Okay. So,
but yeah, very good question, man. I'm probably like safely.
Just no. I'm not even asking the whole night. Just at the game.
Oh, at the game, probably solid like
3, I would say for me.
That's it.
3
at the game, 3 drinks.
So you spent $500.
Oh, dude, I probably drank like 8 beers at the game.
8?
Yeah.
Damn.
I didn't drink that many, so you must.
Same with Jimmy.
Gone. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were having a good time for sure.
Did you guys do the fucking cup snake?
No, that's only for the bleachers. Yeah.
Oh
The bleachers is where everyone should want to sit at Wrigley. That's by far the best spot in Wrigley Field. The tickets are a little bit more expensive, but 100% you gotta.
You guys had good seats though, because it got rained out. You fucking. Wait,
let me ask you. Good seats regardless.
Did you paid for the seats you sat in?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were awesome seats.
Okay.
Awesome seats. All right, so I want to give some love to Nico Horner here. Listen to his numbers over the last 2 weeks. He's 18 for 49. Like I said, Nico Horner's not the guy that's going to really drive in runs, for a team. He's the type of guy that sets up a guy like Cody Bellinger, stuff like that. So he's 18 for 49. That is a 367 batting average over 2 weeks and a 418 on base percentage. So he's walking, he's getting his stolen bags, he's getting hits, and that's good. That's what Nico Horner's job should be. He should be setting up guys like Dansby Swanson, Ian Happ, and Cody Bellinger for potential RBIs and run opportunities. So thank you, Nico Horner. I have him on fantasy too, so he's been doing good for me. But this section I'm actually very excited for. We're going to grade David Ross as the Cubs head coach.
Oh, jeez.
And I put this together, and I think it's going to be pretty good. And I want your guys' feedback, too. Even if you don't watch the Cubs like how I do, I just want to listen to your guys' opinions. So, starting off, biggest areas where David Ross has excelled. Developing clubhouse culture. I personally put that as the top grade, A+. I think David Ross is 100% the guy for a nice, well-ran clubhouse. He keeps the guys loose, kind of like a Joe Madden type manager. He's done a very good job for me there. You just see that even if the Cubs are losing, these players still have their heads up high and stuff like that, and that's very important. That shows true leadership. So I do give David Ross a good score on that.
Do you think David Ross is hitting up Eberflus
or? For certain play caller, yes. For certain decisions, I 100% believe he is. Yeah, team resiliency and perseverance. Yeah, it's kind of a hard word to say for me. I also put that as an A+. I think he does a very good job, kind of like how the clubhouse culture of doing that, of that kind of stuff. So hats off to you again there. And this is where I think the big decision, in this entire thing comes into play. Dispersion of at-bats. I just want to say that Trey Mancini, Eric Hosmer, Edwin Rios, Tucker Barnhart, Miles Mastrobuoni had nearly 700 plate appearances this year.
Wow.
That is pathetic. All of those guys are miserable ball players. I'm sorry. I don't want to be mean, but they all should not be on a major league team. They've pretty much all been cut besides Miles Mastrobuoni. Everyone knows how I feel about him. He shouldn't be on the team either. Doesn't really provide anything. But that's far too many at bats for those type of guys. So I gave him honestly a C- for that. That's not a good score. That needs to be bumped up higher. I actually probably gave him a few points there just because. So he probably should be like a D.
Wait, who's getting a C-?
David Ross is getting the C.
Oh, you're grading
for
the way he's
dispersion of
handling.
at-bats.
Okay.
And moving forward, and the next topic is feel for the pen and rotation.
this great.
Not good. Not good at all. This is not this guy's strong suit. I'm sorry. If there's one thing that he's really bad at, it is managing a bullpen, and it is managing a freaking pitching staff.
Can't he get help? Like, or can someone else do the bullpen and he can manage the other things? You know, kind of like.
Well,
dude, all these guys have egos, man. I guarantee you, he thinks he knows
like
what
Matt
he's doing.
Nagy had a big ego.
Of course.
You know, play
They all
calling.
Like, he just keeps in guys for too long. And that's, like, I've seen that with Justin Steele.
Today,
you know?
right?
Like today, I was really fired up. Justin Steele had over 30 pitches in one inning without recording an out. That is a lot of wear and tear on your arm for one inning of work. Usually you see players not come back from that. If you throw 30 pitches in an inning as it is, that pretty much sums up your night. You know, you're not really going to come back from that. So this guy threw 30 pitches in one inning without recording an out. And David Ross, he finally sends out Hottie to go up there and talk to Justin Steele. Still hasn't warmed up anyone in the bullpen, while Justin Steele gave up 6 hits in a row. And didn't think, oh, maybe I should probably get someone to freaking, you know, be the fire extinguisher to this fucking fire that's at this dumpster fire that's happening. But no, he just, you know, so I give him a terrible grade for that. And Javier Assad as well, going back to that Colorado game. It was so obvious Javier Assad did not have, you know, a good day, and it was just his control was so freaking bad and everything. But no, he just kept sending him out there. Every inning, Javier Assad got a horseshoe up his ass. He got out of a freaking jam every inning until it came back to bite him, you know, and, you know, he blew the game up. So that's another guy. And Drew Smiley. Drew Smiley was in the rotation far too long. I can't believe Drew Smiley stayed in the rotation for as long as he did. This is a guy that started off really good to start the season and then went through a really bad stretch for a very long fucking time. And he stayed as a starter for a while. Michael Fulmer to start the season. Remember what happened? Michael Fulmer blew like 5-6 games in a fucking month, dude. And the Cubs lost all those games. But yet he still refused to have someone go out there and be the closer. You know, Michael Fulmer was still being sent out there when Adbert Elzvai was still having a good season at that point. So he handles the pen and the rotation miserably. So yeah, that's a.
Hey man, on the bright side, Dansby Swanson went 0 for 5 today with absolutely nothing doing.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of playing him in fantasy. Shout out to me being in the championship round. So that's big. Right now, just an update. Currently winning 7-5. It's a head-to-head league, so 7-5. Stay tuned next week to see if I won the championship or not, which a lot of money on the line, so I could use it.
How much money?
How much? Fuck, do you even know?
It's like 100. It's $1,200.
Third place gets their money back.
$1,200 pot. Second place gets like $300.
I think
so. You'll win. Probably like $700-800.
I'm guaranteed 300-ish. First place. If I win this week, I get 700-800.
Yeah.
Is this your guys' your league? Yeah. Damn.
So
I'm playing the guy.
I got knocked out. I'm fighting for third place to get my money back. Hopefully I do. But in my other league, I'm beating up the guy to get into the finals. So I should be in the finals starting next week. I'm very excited about that. And Joe, like I said, we're going to pop his cherry next week.
Hell yeah, dude.
Not next week, next year.
Joe, you're going to have fun, dude. Fantasy baseball, coming from someone who had played fantasy football for 8 years and then now I'm playing fantasy baseball, it's a great time.
That would actually be
fantasy baseball.
That would be actually a really fun kind of topic to talk about. Like going top 10 players in order, like a segment or a fantasy segment.
Like a fantasy
like
sport,
obviously number one is going to be
we could literally in the future we could do a podcast of our fucking draft. Like us three can be in the room together doing the fucking draft.
Yeah, you're right.
I like that.
You know?
But to sum up the whole David Ross thing, I didn't get much participation out of you guys, but it's okay. To sum up the David Ross thing, when it's all said and done, this guy is going to be our manager next season in 24. But that being said, the Cubs are going to spend a lot of money in free agency. Hopefully we get players like Matt Chapman to fill in for third base, another Gold Glove Award winning Third baseman has to pop in his bat. We need a pitcher, hopefully a first baseman. Maybe Matt Mervis can come up and do something.
Never get enough pitchers.
Yeah, so the Cubs are going to have a better team next year. And if the Cubs aren't divisional winners next year, I'm sorry, David Ross has got to go.
Look, man,
How's
in
Canters
my
looked?
He's actually done very well this year.
in my
for the Cubs.
opinion,
Yeah.
Dansby Swanson is not that guy. Dansby Swanson
Swanson's that guy, dude.
is a great player. He's a good shortstop, obviously an important position. But he's no Pete Alonso.
Of course not.
They need that guy, dude.
Dude, Dansby Swanson.
They need that fucking 3-4 hitter that's like established. Like Dansby Swanson's a great player, good defense.
Dude.
He can get on base. He did well with the Braves. He's doing well this year. But dude, Dansby Swanson doesn't strike fear into MLB pitchers the same way like a guy like Pete Alonso does, or a guy like Judge.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
not really.
Okay, why?
Obviously, I mean, we can't compare Dansby Swanson to fucking Aaron Judge, dude. Like,
Okay.
That's just
Of
not.
course I'm
that's
not.
just not plausible. I know you are, but I'm just saying those two shouldn't even be in the same conversation. But Dansby Swanson, dude. I mean, we're talking about a shortstop that hit over 20 home runs this year in the season.
Yeah, but the Cubs
Drove
don't have
in 80
that guy,
runs.
though. That's my point.
Drove
Like,
in
okay,
80 RBIs.
Dansby Swanson was not a bad signing. I'm not saying
Yeah.
he was. I'm saying that they need that guy.
Yeah, Cody Bellinger.
Cody Bellinger might not even re-sign next year. You never know. Like, I'll be honest.
Cody
you
Bellinger
don't
is
know.
very important to the Cubs, and he's going to resign with the Cubs,
Okay.
100%. There's
Okay, so
no
they're-
way the Cubs let Cody Bellinger
How much
walk.
are they paying Swanson?
177 over 7 years.
Okay, what is that?
177 million.
170 million?
177 million.
77 in 7 years.
Yeah.
How many millions a year is that? I can't think right now.
Probably like fucking 26.
20-ish? All right,
Yeah.
20, 25, 20, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 25, almost about 25. Okay, so you're paying all that money to a shortstop.
Yeah, 25.2.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he also provides Gold Glove defense.
You want to sign Bellinger, dude? After the year Bellinger's had, I promise you, he's gonna ask for a pretty big contract.
He's 28 though.
He's 28. Okay, so he's
He's
gonna ask
still
for a
young.
7-year contract.
Yeah, that's fine.
So okay, you're gonna pay Bellinger 7 years, probably similar to fucking Swanson contract. You're probably gonna if you
Yeah.
want to re-sign Bellinger, you're probably gonna have to re-sign Bellinger for 7 years, 170, dude. Probably the same.
How does
So
that-
if
that
so
would-
listen, hold on. So if you're gonna sign Bellinger for 170, just like Swanson, are you gonna have the capital? I mean, it is
I was
the
just going
Cubs.
to ask that. Do they have the cap space to
Do
do
they
that?
have the capital
course.
to sign a guy like Pete, a guy they fucking need, an X factor player? Because the Cubs don't have that power threat. They don't have that guy in the 3-4 hole. That's
I want to.
like,
I want to
holy
just
fuck.
share some big news. Finally, all of us Cubs fans can rejoice because the season's coming to an end. Hopefully, that results in a World Series, of course, or a deep playoff run. But at the end of this season, guess whose contract is coming off the books?
2024. Give me a hint. Ohtani.
No, like a Cubs contract.
Oh, a Cub. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Don't tell us, dude. Joe, we gotta get this, or else we're fucking.
There's a player's contract that is done after this season.
Hayward?
Yes, Jason
Okay.
Hayward. Guess how much the Cubs are paying Jason Hayward?
like 20.
$28 million a season.
Holy shit, 28.
$28 million
Damn.
a season for a guy that did nothing for us. I don't give a crap about that stupid speech he gave in the World Series rain delay. That did not mean he did not. Like, I argue.
Let's not give credit to him. Let's
I'm not
give
giving any credit to
Ben
Jason Hayward.
Zobrist.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of Cubs fans out there that say, "Oh, we won the World Series because of Jason Hayward's speech during the rain delay." Fuck the rain delay and fuck Jason Hayward, dude. He robbed the Cubs of millions of dollars. He played terrible for the Cubs, other than good defense.
All right.
And
Let's
then
get on track.
No,
Let's
no,
get on
hold on.
track.
I have a bone to pick with Jason Hayward, and
Okay.
then he
Your
goes,
bone to pick
and
segment.
then
All
he
right.
goes to L.A. and has a phenomenal offensive season for the Dodgers. Where was that with the Cubs? You know, because we signed Hayward, we couldn't go after big prime.
The
time
question
guys
is, was
anymore.
Hayward decent in 2016? Or
It
no?
was fucking terrible.
Terrible in 2016.
Terrible.
Okay.
He did give a good speech, right? That's what.
Yeah. You know, Ben Zobrist also had a really clutch double. You know.
I know. I'm just.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Ben
Joe-
Zobrist.
Joe-
Yeah. Like. Yeah.
I didn't even hear his speech, to be honest.
No, back in the day, I argued with a lot of people on social media when I had social media about this. Everyone was raving about the freaking speech that Jason Hayward gave. I was like, that speech is worthless. They're like, oh, that contract alone is worth a freaking speech. I was like, dude, really? Yeah. But whatever. You know, I'm not a fan of Jason Hayward at all. But thankfully his...
I think our audience can tell that.
Yeah. Thankfully his $28 million is coming off the books, and the Cubs are going to be able to go out and fill some holes. So, yes, we can afford to re-sign Cody Bellinger. But that leads to a bigger problem or a bigger issue. The Cubs have a lot of stud outfield prospects in their system, just to name two, PCA and Alexander the Great. Where would these kids play if we have Ian Happ locked up in left field, Cody Bellinger in center field, and Suzuki in right field? Do we pull an audible and try and get Cody Bellinger to play first base for the Cubs? Is that an option? Because, I mean, he plays very good first base. We need a first baseman, and that would open up center field for the kids to go after. But
or I have a suggestion. What if you instead? How about you re-sign Cody Bellinger, and then you take a guy like Pete Alonso, the polar bear, and you fucking sign him, dude.
So
look, honestly,
no, dude,
after
man,
the abysmal season,
I'm like foaming at the mouth thinking about Pete Alonso.
With the abysmal season that the New York Mets have had, they got rid of Verlander, they got rid of fucking Scherzer. Pete Alonso might not want to stay in New York after the season and next season. I mean, they're struggling, man. It's a good opportunity for the Cubs to swoop in and say, hey, let's get an elite first baseman in his prime. Premier power hitter in this league.
So,
game X factor type of player.
He's a free agent after next season. So he's a free agent in 2025.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I could totally see the Cubs trading for Pete Alonso next season. The Mets are going to be good next year. The Cubs are going to be good. We're going to be better.
Who are you going to trade?
Well, thankfully the Cubs have a rich farm system that they could afford to give up guys. Because the Cubs are pretty gridlocked at a good amount of positions. Shortstop is locked, second base is locked, left field's locked, right field's locked with Suzuki. Center field, if we do re-sign Cody Bellinger, that's going to be locked. So with this entire rich hitting and pitching system, where are all these kids going to come up and play? So I could see the Cubs going out of the trade market and getting the guys they need. Hopefully Pete Alonso's a Cub in the future. I'd be very happy and excited about that.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
So we're at an hour and 51 minutes right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have that much left to talk about unless you guys want. But predictions for the upcoming games. I think we win 2 out of 3 from Pittsburgh. Well, we better. Like, I was actually hoping we'd sweep them, but after today, it's 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 from Colorado. I think we lose a game somehow against Colorado, even though we should sweep them. After Colorado and Pittsburgh, guess what? We have the big bad Braves and the Brewers.
Yeah, there's no way we're making the playoffs.
Yikes.
So that's why the importance of going into Atlanta with a 6-game winning streak would have been really nice. We did beat the Braves in a series earlier in the season, which shocked me, but that's when the Cubs were playing really good. Yeah. So I think we take 1 from the Braves and we take 1 from the Brewers. Unfortunately, I don't have the Cubs making the playoffs anymore. So
it's a tight race. It's hard.
Okay, so it's hard to say, but I just don't like our matchups. I don't like the Braves and the Brewers.
Here's a question for you, Andrew. What is a better chance? The Bears make the playoffs or the Cubs make the playoffs? Who has a better chance right now?
Of course,
the Cubs.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure the Cubs.
Joe, remember what I said?
Yeah, I know.
Statistically, the Bears have a 11% chance of making it currently.
I wonder what
they're going to go 0-3.
Percentage chances.
I wonder what's 0-3.
The Cubs, it's literally, I was watching the network earlier.
Yeah.
It's like 50% exactly.
So that's not terrible.
Yeah,
but it's bad considering that it was at like 90.
Yeah. That is sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That much.
And like I said, we have favorable matchups with Pittsburgh and Colorado, but the Brewers, you know, with that dirty pitching staff, dude. I mean, it's unreal how good their pitching is. Their offense, Christian Yelich is igniting that offense.
Okay. So to answer your question, Joe, I just looked it up. Since the NFL expansion in 1979, only 6 teams in NFL history have made the playoffs after starting off 0-3.
That's
Wow.
very
So I think we can all conclude the Cubs probably have a better chance.
Yeah. I'm hoping. I don't think Miami. Miami's not a playoff team. I don't think. I don't believe they are. So I think we should have no issue with them. I think they're going to
It's
continue
just
to
the pitching,
lose
man.
through the
They
years.
got some good pitching. That's about it.
But yeah, I don't have the Cubs winning. I don't know. Since Cincinnati's been playing good, dude. They've been playing real good. I know they lost today, but they have an exciting team. But yeah,
Maybe
that's pretty much it.
Maybe that's why the FBI rated.
And it would be,
Williams'
yeah,
house.
it would be pretty sad, you
He's
know,
giving
to see the
information.
Cubs not make the playoffs
He's
after
giving
our
information.
great run. But
I think it's time to.
if you guys want to add anything else to this,
No. I think it's time to rate some beers.
okay. You don't want to say anything about the Sox or just what you said earlier, a little bit?
You know what,
said
man?
some briefly,
You know
right?
what? Since you're putting me on the spot, I'll be honest with you. There's not that much to say about the Sox. You know, they're having a rough season. I guess all you can wish for right now is that we get a decent draft pick and our new front office, whether it be Chris Getz or whether we hire somebody else to get that VP general manager position. Hopefully they make the right draft picks coming up in 2024. You know, that's really it.
It's a dark, like I said to you earlier, I texted you, Brandon, saying that there's a dark cloud over Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been having some it's funny, kind of ironic, we've been having some dark weather. You know, Chicago feels like it's turning into Gotham City, and I made the joke that it's how bad the Chicago
Yeah,
sports
right.
teams
After
have been
after
playing.
the shooting at the Sox Stadium,
Yeah.
it really is feeling like Gotham
Yeah,
City.
no
But
kidding.
yeah, like I said on episode 1, and I'll just reiterate it. There's not that much to be said, and every week I want to touch on the Sox a little bit. But I think the only thing I'll say, and keeping it short, is that, you know, Kenny Williams is gone. Rick Hahn, even though I appreciated and I respected some of the moves that he made, Rick Hahn is gone. I think that as long as Jerry Reinsdorf is at the helm, I think there always will be issues at this point. But that's neither here nor there. You know, I want to be optimistic. I think, you know, like I said, maybe we get a new GM in, maybe we get a new VP in, maybe Chris Getz keeps one of the positions, we hire someone else externally, we draft well, we learn how to keep our players healthy, whatever that is. Maybe we draft players that have a healthy resume, whatever it takes. But I think the future might be bright for the Sox. You know, I'm going to be optimistic.
Heard that
And
before.
so we're gonna go week by week, and every week I'm gonna leave you guys with some sort of fucking optimism for the White Sox.
Hey.
Because if I don't offer you a little bit of optimism, we're gonna fall into irrelevancy. So you know what? Go fucking White Sox. Week by week, we'll see what happens. That's it.
I have a big question for you.
What's your question?
Specifically you. The White Sox going into a major rebuild.
Another one?
Yeah,
like the Bears.
major rebuild.
Yeah.
Like front office, farm system, everything
Yep.
at the major league level. Do you trade Dylan Cease and Luis Robert?
Good question, man. Good question.
Obviously, I'm going to answer one part of it for you. I don't believe you should trade Cease yet with the year he had. You know, hopefully he pitches better, then you can get more for him. But would you trade those two guys?
I'll be honest with you, this is why I'm not a GM. Like that's a really good question.
Yeah.
It's a very tough question to answer. I'll play devil's advocate. There's two sides to the coin, right? You keep Cease, you keep Robert, maybe you win a couple more games, maybe you get a couple good prospects, and you have a quicker road to success. Or you trade them and you get prospects, and then you kind of look more towards the future. Honestly, man, they're both on somewhat friendly contracts.
Very friendly contract.
That's the main thing. I mean, I think in a situation like this, the thing that's most important is you have to look at their contracts, how favorable they are to your organization and the rebuild itself. I think when you look at Cease, I think when you look at Robert, they're both very talented players. They both are on very team-friendly contracts. I mean, Robert is going to start getting paid more as the years of his contract keep moving forward. He's going to start making up to $20 million a year, things like that. Similar to the Eloy contract, the Moncada contract.
Sorry to cut you off. $20 million in today's game is really not that much anymore.
It's not that much, but $20 million is a lot of money.
It's kind of crazy to say that.
$20 million is still a lot of money.
$20 million a season.
Look, when you have to sign,
really
when you have to create a team of 5 starting pitchers, 9 starters, 5 bench players, a bullpen. $20 million is a lot of money. I don't care how you spin it. I don't care if Max Scherzer's making $45 million a year. $20 million is a lot of money, dude.
Cody Bellinger got $20 million to play with the Cubs after Cody Bellinger fucking hit 170 for
1 year
3 years.
contract.
Doesn't matter.
1 year contract, dude. If it was a hot, I'll tell you what. With Cody Bellinger,
obviously that deal worked out.
You can make a bigger AAV, annual average salary, if you're signing a short-term contract. I guarantee you, if Bellinger's preference was signing a contract of 5 years, he's not making $20 million. But he said, hey, 1 year, $20 million, and now he had the chance to prove himself, and now he's going to make. He had a good year. He's going to make more money next year. He's going to have a longer contract. But again, to answer your question, I think if I'm the GM at this point, they're both on somewhat friendly contracts. I'm keeping both of them. I'm making sure we make the right draft picks, and then I'm doing it that way.
If I'm the GM, I'm definitely trading both of those players.
Okay.
I think right now they're both young. They're both good. They both have a lot of upside.
How much value do you think Cease has right now after this
Dylan
season?
Cease, look, if you're going off of this season,
you're going to sell him low.
After this season, it's going to be lower, but I think teams are still going to see the potential that this kid has. Dude, put Dylan Cease on the Rays. Imagine.
Yeah.
There's something about the Rays,
Scary.
It's scary.
Or the Brewers.
He was a Cy Young finalist, in 2022, and he had a monster season. So, I think teams would still pay a hefty price for him. Those two players alone, Luis Robert
can I just say one
thing?
thing?
Could make your rebuild go from 4 years to easily 2 years.
That's not true.
It is.
Because then okay, listen, I get what you're saying, and this is a good conversation. What talent do you have if you trade those guys? We have zero. Listen, the Chicago White Sox become the Oakland Athletics if we get rid of those 2 fucking players.
You got to do what you got to do. You look for the future. What's the point of having these 2 guys on your team when they can provide value elsewhere and also bring in a big amount?
You can bring in a lot of studs, but you're banking on the fact that all these studs are
for sure.
They're all producing at the same time at 22, 23 years old. That's very unlikely,
and
bro.
That reminds me of the Chris Sale trade with Boston, how the White Sox got Yohan Moncada, the number 1 prospect in baseball, and Michael Kopech, who was also a really highly touted prospect. Obviously, that didn't end up working out for the White Sox.
Yeah.
So there's always that factor when it comes to, if you're giving a guy up like Luis Robert, are you going to get anywhere near that value back? It's all a gamble. But
it's a hard question. Again, I'm glad I'm not a GM. Yeah. It's a harder position than we think. It's a harder role than we think. Yeah. We do have to give those guys credit. We can talk shit about them all day. It's not easy. But I guess we'll just see, man. But again, I'm gonna try to be optimistic. I think the White Sox getting rid of Kenny Williams is huge.
It is.
Even more so than
Rick Hahn. Fresh ideas.
Kenny Williams has been here since pre-2005. I can't tell you the exact year, but it's a new era. I guess you might want to call it the Chris Getsy era. We'll see what happens. I don't know if that's tentative. I'll be optimistic. We need to draft right. We need to train our players right. And one thing I will give the White Sox credit for is they have developed some good fucking players in their farm system. Tim Anderson, he's had a shit 2023. He's been an absolute stud. He's gone for the batting title for the last couple of years. We know, right? We know what Anderson's done. Chris Sale lit the world on fire. Absolute monster. I remember growing up, back in the day when Chris Sale really was in his prime with the White Sox. He was the only bright spot of our team. Like, I would tune in every fifth day to watch Chris Sale pitch, and I was amazed every single time. I didn't have to watch the other guys pitch, just Sale. And that was the White Sox doing. They drafted him.
Gavin Floyd.
Yeah, man, Gavin Floyd. Fuck, man. We've had some bad ones, too, but we've had some good ones. The White Sox have proven that they've done a couple things right over the years. Hey, fuck you. We won in 2005, bitch.
Yeah, you guys did.
Cubs won in 2016.
That's very true as well. Hey,
that's true.
One thing that I think could bring some excitement back to the White Sox. You guys signed Goloff. I forgot your manager's last name. How do you pronounce it?
The head
coach.
Fuck, dude. You're putting me on the spot.
Goloff. It's something like that. I apologize for screwing up his name because I butchered it. But imagine if the White Sox just signed AJ Pierzynski as their head coach. Wouldn't that be a good fit?
How raw would that be, dude?
Wouldn't that be a good fit?
He wouldn't do it though. He likes being in the media. AJ Pierzynski's
that would be
all
a
over
phenomenal fit though. AJ,
yeah,
being the skip of the Chicago White Sox, that'd be pretty cool.
Like
even as a Cubs fan, I think that'd be pretty neat.
Dude, bring back Ozzie Guillen, man. Just for the fucking fun of it, dude.
They should. I mean, it would.
Why
bring
not?
Fans.
Why not,
It would
dude?
bring fans in the stadium for sure.
Why not?
And Ozzie already proved that he could.
He
win a
wants
World
to.
Series.
He wants to.
Ozzie already proved that he could win a World Series. He did it. Why would you sign a guy from Kansas City? I get it. Kansas City had some good runs.
Dude, I'll be honest. I'm a big
times.
Sox fan. I know a lot about what's going on with the organization. Yes, I've had a couple beers. I can't for the life of me remember the fucking name of the White Sox manager right now. And I think that is a great way.
Dude, it's like Jaloff.
That is a great way to just kind of summarize where the Sox season has been.
Irrelevancy.
Irrelevancy, just terrible.
Just so we don't end this podcast butchering this guy's name.
What's his name, bro?
All right, Pedro Grifol.
Grifol,
Excuse me. I was close.
Bro.
I was
you were
close.
real Goloff and Grifol.
I was close.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I was close there.
He's a fucking asshole. All right, whatever.
Beer review.
Joe, beer review.
All right, so I am drinking a Voodoo Ranger, which is an Imperial IPA. I wrote down some information on it, it's made by the New Belgium Brewing Company in Fort Collins, Colorado. So I'm not crazy about IPAs, but yep, Brandon's showing it.
You got a good view, Joe?
Yeah, that looks good.
Good.
So I'm not crazy about IPAs, but to be honest, this one is not real hoppy. IPAs are known to be real hoppy beers. This one's pretty smooth. It's easy drinking. It's a nice sipping beer if you're just doing a podcast or if you're watching a football game, just to sit back and sip. It's a pretty solid beer. Like I said, I'm not crazy about IPAs, but this one is an IPA that is acceptable in my book that I like to drink. If I had to give it a grade, or not a grade, but on a scale of 1 to 10, rating it, I would give it probably a 7.
That's pretty good for an IPA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
7. I mean, it's a solid beer.
No, and going off of what Joe said, I'm not a fan of IPAs in any sense. This Imperial IPA is actually incredible for an IPA standard. So you guys should check that out if you're interested.
Sure.
Are you done?
Yep.
Okay. I am drinking.
Well, if you're going to talk about another beer, let me talk about
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So I'm also drinking Voodoo. Again, I want to keep things exciting, but to be honest with you, I think Joe hit it on the nail. I think it is an IPA similar to Andrew and Joe. I'm not an IPA guy, but it's a smooth drink, man. I mean, this is the first time I can tell you with full sincerity, first time I've ever tried this specific beer. As we started the podcast, as I've been drinking it throughout the podcast, it's very good. I actually had a look, and when I saw it was 9% alcohol volume, couldn't believe it. That's a pretty strong beer. Goes down pretty smooth. You don't realize how strong it is until you get to your third beer and you kind of feel a buzz like I do. But I think it's a good beer for an IPA. without a doubt, I agree with Joe. Because I'll give it a bonus point because of how I usually interpret an IPA. I'll give it a 7.5, and I don't like them, so that's a really good rating. For me.
It also has some cool art on the front, which I
do
enjoy
like the
about
art. Yeah, we showed it up in the on the webcam there.
Pretty cool art, but I agree with both your guys' points regarding Imperial IPA. I'm drinking Shipyard Smashed Pumpkin. If you want to go over there and show them,
Yeah, let me do that.
I would appreciate that. It has burnt sugar, cinnamon, an orangey pumpkin kind of taste. It didn't like knock my socks off. I'll be honest. It's drinkable for sure. It's definitely for like fall and stuff. Obviously, it's pumpkin flavored, but not bad. Real quick, I will say though, the back says drink at 55 degrees. I don't think I did that. That's when it's like the best. So I'm gonna have to give it another try from here. But 9% alcohol, very strong beer. You don't want to slam these or else you're gonna be having a bad night. On the Richter scale out of 10, I'm probably sticking with a 6.3. I think that's still a good beer. You can still drink it and enjoy it, but not the best.
All right.
Yep.
So our next podcast will probably be Tuesday, next week Tuesday. If you guys are okay with that, I will get this posted either tonight or first thing in the morning. We will have it up for you to watch. So next week, Tuesday, we'll record it and hopefully get that one up either Tuesday night or Wednesday morning.
I want to add one thing before we exit off. So right now we're primarily talking about the Bears and baseball, of course, but we haven't forgotten about the Blackhawks. We haven't forgotten about the Bulls. The Blackhawks season starts October 10th. I'm not really sure when the basketball season starts. I don't really pay attention to basketball like that. I don't know if you guys do, but
soon.
It
yeah,
starts right
it
around
starts
hockey
right
does.
around hockey. But the Blackhawks, just to cover them for a quick second, a lot of excitement. We got lucky with the draft lottery and getting Connor Bedard. That's going to be phenomenal to watch that kid play. That kid is going to be, amazing. There are some reports that even said like the kid's already in the Hall of Fame before even stepping on the freaking ice. So this kid is going to be really freaking good.
So what Andrew's saying, there's some light shining in Chicago.
Yes,
it's
yes,
not going to be
yes.
hopefully always a dark cloud.
And the Blackhawks, I don't think you guys really understand how like bad of an organization they've been since 2015. Like I forgot the player's name, but there was a specific player on the.
That's horrible.
Yes, and
Jesus
they swept
Christ.
it under the rug and didn't freaking release
All right.
anything.
So the bottom line is
No, it doesn't matter. This is getting edited out.
No, but the bottom line is, to Andrew's point, like this podcast, and Joe will say it best. But the bottom line is this podcast is Chicago brewed sports, right? We're going to talk about the Bears, the Sox, the Cubs. We're not going to forget about the Bulls. We're not going to forget about the Blackhawks. We're going to have some guest appearances of people that we know who are experts in those different sports, and we're going to bring our own insights and our own personalities to it. Look, we're looking forward to just growing this podcast with you guys. We really appreciate everybody's support. And we're just having fun. We're just a bunch of dudes right here who are just trying to have a good time. But we're not here for the clout. We're not here to get famous. We're not here to make money. We're literally here to just have fun and drink some beers and talk sports. And we also look forward to trying new beers. We look forward to introducing you guys to some of our buddies. And man, this is fun. This is a good time. Like Joe said, what's our slogan?
We are Chicago Brewed Sports, a podcast for the fans, by the fans.
For the fans, by the fans.
That was gonna be my closer, dude. I was gonna edit.
But I'm just saying, like
I can't do it anymore.
that's what it is.
I gotta edit that part out too now. A brain fart.
No, but that's what it is. That's what we are. We're just fans, just like you guys. Support us. Hopefully one day, we'll get to a point where we can start having, maybe Q&As, right? Maybe we can start getting some questions from you guys and
That'd be
start answering
awesome.
them. That'd be fucking amazing.
Or live feed,
We want to get to a point to shatter the fourth wall. We want to get to a point where we can maybe start playing some like video clips where you guys can like kind of see what we're talking about, things like that. And I think we're close to it. So, it's gonna be fucking awesome. And
also,
on that note.
Also, sorry, one last thing. In the near future, we will be creating social media pages and stuff like that, so look out for that. But closing time, okay.
Joe, finish this off, buddy. Who's the closer? Andrew?
Yeah, I'll do it again.
Let's go, baby.
Remember, we are Chicago Brewed Sports, a podcast for the fans, by the fans. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for listening. We really enjoy this and appreciate all of you.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Have a good night. See you next week.